atmosphere faithful have followed the boys of Rocky Top, leaving behind the friendly confines of Neyland Stadium in exchange for Death Valley. The final moments, the final preparation. Prime time of the Delta.
Done time, you know what I mean? ESPN, baby.
It's an SEC showdown on the Bayou where the 11th ranked Tennessee Volunteers come calling on the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin, and welcome to Saturday primetime college football here on ESPN once again. Tonight, from Baton Rouge, a place we'd dearly love to come. Two tradition-rich programs in Tennessee and LSU, and they both have a couple of things in common. They're both still looking for their first SEC victory, and both are playing with a two-quarterback system. They have not settled on just one as yet. But that's where the comparison's in, because for LSU just 1 week ago tonight, a very puzzling and disappointing loss right here in the stadium to UAB. Meanwhile, for Tennessee, after clearly beating up physically Florida, but they lost to the Gators. Well, they came back against a non-conference opponent and scored 70 points last week. Many people feel as though Tennessee playing better than anyone in the SEC right now. When we come back, Mike Gottfried and Adrian Carson will join me with more on tonight's game between Tennessee and LSU. LSU Tigers, their home, Death Valley, a once-feared atmosphere for those who dared to tread, a place where more than just number one spell. As of late, celebrations have been few and far between. Coaches have come and gone, and fresh faces called upon. Tonight, the Bayou Bengals look to restore the reputation of the venerable Death Valley, and they're looking for volunteers. Tigers take the field. They added 11,000 seats on the far side and an upper deck, so close to 92,000 strong on hand here tonight to see rival Tennessee come to town. First time the Volunteers have been here since back in the early 90s. They are 11 ranked in the country. A.J. Suggs, the young freshman from Powder Springs, Georgia, it'll be his third consecutive start tonight, and we could see Clausen in a backup role this evening. Hello once again, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mike Gottfried. And Mike, on the other side of the football last week, boy, Josh Moody had a rough evening. He also injured some ribs, has not taken that many snaps this week, and we've just been told Rohan Davey gets the start. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Rohan Davey didn't play in the Houston game, played one series in the Auburn game, didn't play last week against UAB. So now you throw him in against probably the toughest defense, maybe the toughest defense in the country. Rohan Davey's coming off a knee injury. He's got tendonitis. He can't move well in the pocket, and I believe we'll see Booty.
One of the things that everybody talks about with Tennessee and the way John Chavis has changed that defense around, they can run and run and run. Very speedy. They
have great speed, and they're led by two defensive linemen, John Henderson and Will Overstreet. Will Overstreet, you'll love to watch him play tonight because he has only one speed. It's full speed ahead. But this is a defense that can run. They got three linebackers with great speed, led by Westmoreland. A very tough defense, only giving up 47 yards rushing.
Well, you see the numbers on Phil Fulmer, almost 84%, his winning percentage, his 8th season as the head coach at Tennessee. And the first season for Nick Saban, 2-2. You see his career record. This, of course, includes Michigan State, 61.5%, 45 wins, 28 losses. Weather, not a problem tonight. It's going to get into the 60s. Weatherman says not a chance of rain. Tennessee won the toss. They deferred, so LSU will recede, and we will see very quickly the quarterback situation for LSU, as it's going to be Davey with the start this evening. Derek Williamson to kick it off to Dominic Davis and Gerald Myers. And they're underway. And this one is going to go out of bounds. They will scrimmage from the 35-yard line. And let's check it on the sideline with Adrian Karsten.
All right, Ron, you need to know that even though Josh Booty is not starting this game tonight at quarterback, it has nothing to do with punishment for the way he played in last week's game. Nick Saban just moments ago with me was very vehement about that. He said many times here at LSU, the quarterback can be blamed for far too much, and maybe I was too harsh on him for ad-libbing on the last play of last week's game. The situation, Davey gets the start. He will play as long as he is as effective. If he becomes ineffective, we might see Booty, but for how long is still a question. He's got a lot of pain in his left side from those bruised ribs.
Okay, Adrian. And, of course, the other side of that thing, and we'll get Mike to elaborate on this as the game goes on. He didn't take many snaps in practice this week. Toefield hit at the line of scrimmage, and big number 98, John Henderson, is right there to smack him down. Here's a closer look at Rohan Davey. Severe knee injury, didn't work out in the spring. Nice young fellow who just wants an opportunity to help this team. LeBrandon Toefield out 2 years with a knee injury. He is a freshman, very good. Banks a good running back. Myers and Robinson the wideouts. Robert Royal, good tight end. We'll check the offensive line following this play. On second down, his first pass. Pressure is in. Going to step up into the pocket. Here we are. 10, 15, 20, 25. 31 yards in the scramble. Sessions finally ran him out of bounds.
Rohan Davey showing pretty good escapability on this play. Doesn't show a bad knee at all. Goes back to pass. He's relatively inexperienced this year, but he knows when to pull it down and pick up good yardage against Tennessee, who is in man coverage.
Boy, did that electrify this capacity crowd of almost 92,000 people. They say officially 32 yards in the scramble. So after 2 plays, LSU in volunteer territory. You see the linebackers creeping up. Play action. He's got nowhere to go. And on the blitz, the sack, Dominic Stevenson along with D'Angelo Lloyd making the tackle. It's a loss of 11. An injured LSU offensive line. Winey, the regular at left tackle, he's the best. Then Reed, Williams, Dwayne Pierce, and Brad Smalling. And Mike, talk about who they're going up against.
This is no time to be timid in the offensive line, because you're going to go up against a very good defensive line led by John Henderson and Will Overstreet. Will Overstreet only knows one speed, full speed.
Boy, that's for sure. We will talk about him a lot this evening. It's inevitable. That's the way he plays. Count a Trey. Toefield squeezes off a tackle. He's going to be close to 10 yards on this play. 13 officially, so he got a big chunk back, and now a third down situation as you look at the linebackers. And I talked about the speed. Every one of these guys, either former safeties or running backs. Westmoreland, Stevenson, Sessions, all can run extremely well. And in the secondary, Baker, formerly a wide receiver, but he's such a good athlete, they want him on the field. Andre Lott is the leader back there, the veteran. A little bit of a hamstring pull. We'll see if they have to sub for him from time to time tonight. 3rd and 7, the line they need to make is at the 24. High pass, but he gathers it. Left it to the end zone. Man, and caught and dropped. Josh Reed, as the defensive back got turned around, and it was not good ball identification defensively.
No, it wasn't, because Josh Reed had a chance for a touchdown here. Rohan Davey put it right on the money, and he got good protection. Josh Reed is open. The ball's well delivered. Number 13, Tad Golden, with his hands up, probably caused that incompletion.
You can see Reed try. He sees the ball coming. Golden has no idea. This is going to be a 47-yard field goal attempt. Ball is down. Got plenty of distance, and he will hook it in. John Corbello from 47. That is a career long. So, are we off to a career night here in Baton Rouge? We'll take a timeout. Tigers go on top 3-0. LSU jumps on top. And if you think that didn't turn them on down here at Tiger Stadium, first possession, 47-yard field goal. And the man who's about to kick it off, it's a career long for him. The deep man is Leonard Scott. He is from Zachary, Louisiana, and this fella can absolutely fly. He'll take it at the 6. LSU is not going to allow him to get airborne there. Penalty stop side the 20-yard line. A.J. Suggs out of Powder Springs, Georgia. His third start, and this is who his teammates will be offensively. Travis Henry, boy, what a luxury, and an outstanding running back. Bartholomew, really fine blocker. Parker and Wilson, speedsters. John Fenderson, blocker primarily at the tight end spot rather than a pass catcher. We'll check the offensive line in a moment. David Martin in motion. The give, Travis Henry going to be denied the 20-yard line. Offensively up front, and Tennessee's a little dinged. Both Coleman and Herrera have slight shoulder problems. Scott Wells starting tonight. He was the number 2, but the number 1 is not here. Oppenhuzel and Munoz rounding out that offensive front.
And they're going to go against the defensive line led by Jarvis Green, who has 15 career sacks for this football team at LSU.
Fred Wary not here. That could be a little bit of a problem, right?
And Scott Wells is a redshirt freshman starting at center.
Suggs throws a screen right there. They hit it as soon as Martin makes the catch and knocked down for a loss, and it's Hookfin. Loss of 5. The linebackers for LSU, these are fine young players as well, and they can run. Lawrence, Falk, and Brady James. And in the secondary, Booker, well, Fred is the veteran. Lionel Thomas at strong safety out of Opelousas. And Hookfin, he got yanked in the first series against Auburn, but he's been playing a lot since then, and I think learned from that ball game. 3rd down and 13. Tennessee needs the 29 to keep this drive going. Suggs, near sideline, still running. Cedric Wilson didn't turn around. Little miscommunication there.
When I talked to the Tennessee coaches before the ball game, they said, we know we've got an injured Tigers group coming at us because they lost a game last week. They should have won. They know they went back to work this week and really pointed toward this football game. So they know they're going to get a good punch from them early in this game. David
Leverton, who was our player of the game in the Southern Mississippi game, truly a weapon for the Volunteers. Standing back at his 1-yard line, and he launches a missile very high and long. At the 37 is Dominic Davis, and super coverage on the part of Tennessee. 48 yards on that kick and only 5 yards on the return.
48 yards.
So we'll stay right here as Suggs got his feet wet and realized that starting where they did back in that student section to that end of the stadium is a difficult situation.
And Leverton bailed him out, as you said, because of a great punt, knocking him over the 50-yard line. Now Tennessee's defense got to be a little bit more alert than they were the first series by LSU's offense.
Rohan Davey sends Reggie Robinson in motion. The pitch goes to Tofield, turns the corner as a flag is down, and he's out close to midfield. But let's see what this marker is about.
I think it's going to be on LSU.
Mike Tofield has just limped off the field, favoring, it looked like his shoulder. And Dominic Davis comes in.
Illegal motion, illegal shift. On the offense, 2 men were moving at snap.
And Dominic Davis played real well last week. Jimbo Fisher said really impressed by how hard Dominic Davis ran last week.
Steve Landis, our referee tonight for this Southeastern Conference officiating crew. 41 receiving, 32 rushing, 154 return yardage. Truly an outstanding night. So the penalty makes it a 1st down and 15. Rohan Davey out of Miami swings this one out. And there's Davis. We get a chance to see him, and he broke one tackle, still fighting, and pushed out of bounds across the way. And a good round of applause for that 2nd and 3rd effort.
And that's the thing that Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, talked about Dominic Davis. He said they like to use him on screen passes and flares because he's got such great hands. And this also settles Rohan Davey down. he's off to a good start in this ball game.
How much of a difference does it make when you take your opening drive? You'd love to score a touch, but to get any points at all for a team that's trying to rebound and a new quarterback, it's huge, isn't it?
It's huge, and now if you can take it down again and get some more points, it just makes Rohan Davey a little bit more comfortable in this offense.
Second down, nothing at left tackle, and they're going to put the play down right there. Is 28 Dominic Stevenson, senior out of Gaffney, South Carolina. The middle linebacker stuffed up that play.
Well, we talked about Tennessee's defense against the run. They're 5th in the nation, only giving up 47 yards rushing. So very difficult to run the football, Adam. You got to get good play action passes for Rohan Davey to have success.
So Tennessee gets an opportunity to stop LSU for the first time tonight as the Tigers look at a 3rd down and 7. They need to take it just inside the Tennessee 48. 9.5 minutes to play. Opening quarter. Rohan Davey, far sideline, and that one's going to be well overthrown. Double coverage there, and Will Overstreet, number 90, with his first pressure of the night on the quarterback.
Yeah, he has 12.5 career sacks. He had 2 sacks in the Southern Miss game that we had earlier in the year. They have to block Will Overstreet with 2 people.
First punt of the night by Donnie Jones, freshman out of Baton Rouge, played at Catholic High School here in Baton Rouge. You see his numbers, average of almost 42 per kick, and as long as 69.
Tennessee, a good return team.
Eric Parker, the deep man for the Volunteers. If you just joined us, 3-0. LSU scored on their first possession. And now the Volunteers about to get the football for their second time tonight. The left footer. Wobbly spiral, taken at the 15. Crosses the 25 and takes it to the 30-yard line. It's 40 yards in the kick, but a little bit of a line drive, so 16 yards on the return. And we'll take a timeout. 3-0. Tigers lead it. We'll be right back. Things about down here, they not only tailgate, but they do a lot of cooking of seafood out there in that parking lot. And you can smell it up here in the press box the entire game. A.J. Suggs. Straight ahead with Travis Henry. Breaks off 1 tackle. Still fighting. He's going to have a gain of almost 9 yards. Lionel Thomas defensively.
Ron, the reason Tennessee's had success with young quarterbacks, Phil Almation, the defensive coordinator for LSU, said that when he looked at the reel of 3rd and 1s, there was so many of them, it was almost like a whole season full, that they do a great job on first down. Now, the first down, they only got 2 yards, but here they get 8 yards, 9 yards, so that's what you have to do for young quarterbacks, put them in good situations.
Travis has really been a lifesaver for Tennessee, particularly with the fact that they're trying to break in and find a new quarterback who is young. Gets it again. Pops through the right side. He'll have the first down. Now you get yourself in a situation where you can be a tad looser on offense, and you give A.J. Suggs an opportunity to throw.
Yes, when you get good field position, now you turn him loose a little bit more. And I was talking to Mike Berry, the offensive line coach, before the ball game, and he said Travis Henry had the best week of practice this week. So they're expecting him to really have a great football game.
3 carries, 15 yards for Travis. You see his average just over 5 per try. About to hit the midway point of this opening quarter. LSU 3, Tennessee with the football the second time tonight, and they have not scored as yet. Pressure off the corner. Pass is caught across midfield and into LSU territory. That's Eric Parker. Brady James made the tackle. And let's see from where they have marked that one. It's going to be very close to another first down.
Good quick pass by A.J. Suggs, who's very well liked by this football team. Now, they say when he practices, he doesn't look great in practice, but you turn on the lights and you put out the silks, and A.J. Suggs plays his best football in the ball game.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Mike, because in talking with the 3 young quarterbacks yesterday, when they came out for the walkthrough, it was just a walkthrough. It was not one of those regimented things as you look at Clausen on the sideline. But A.J. does just exude, and it's not cockiness, but he exudes confidence. And you can see why the coaches say he really has a take-charge thing when he goes on the field.
They believe in him. These players believe in him the full way. It'll be tough to unseat him now. Casey Clausen, who we know is going to play in this ball game, is talented.
Randy Sanders said that we could see Clausen by third or fourth series, depending on how this football game is going. LSU creeps up straight ahead with the carry, and he's going to have the first down as Kyle Kipps down on the bottom of the pile. Junior out of Lafayette, and he was a tight end, but they needed his body on defense. So number 85 moved over to the other side of the ball.
Ron, on A.J. Suggs, in the 8th grade, he was a ball boy for his high school team. The next year, he was the starting quarterback. He went from ball boy to the starting quarterback. And he played against Quincy Carter that year in the playoffs. And Quincy Carter's team beat A.J. Suggs' team, but he was only a freshman.
Well, they do get the first down in the LSU 45. Travis Henry bounces it to the outside. Stiff arms at the 40. Takes it down to the 37-yard line. Booker and Brady James making the tackle, but Travis with the stiff arm on Ryan Clark and pushed him away. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, if you notice, the majority of Travis Henry yards are coming to the right side of that line. Consider what you said earlier on when you're giving the lineups. Fred Weary, the 300-pound center, didn't make the trip over from Knoxville. The left guard, the left tackle are playing less than 100%. That is Travis's favorite side of the field, where he got his 2 touchdowns last week, as a matter of fact. But his big yards right now coming over the right side, Ron.
That's a great point, Adrian. We'll get you to keep an eye on that tonight. This time they do try the left side. Going to be short. As Trev Falk, and you talk about a guy whose motor runs, Trev Falk out of Lafayette, Louisiana, number 7.
And to add to Adrian's point, the other reason yardage is tough is because Jarvis Green. He's on that left side of Tennessee's offensive line, a very good defensive lineman who really gave Auburn fits in the game we had.
That Mike Whedon just kept mentioning his name over and over and over again. Crowd is coming to their feet. They want a defensive hold right here as Tennessee
take a timeout here.
Yep. 5 seconds on the play clock as they got the 2 tight ends in the ball game, and Tennessee has to use a timeout. So we'll take it with them. 6:17 remaining opening quarter. Tigers by a field goal. Oh my. Back inside the stadium where it is a tad more sane. 3-0 to LSU on top. Well, I said tad more sane. Take a look on the offensive, number 98, Henderson, who's a defensive tackle. They got in as a 3rd tight end to block. Travis Henry. Trav will have the first down as he cracks it inside the 35. Brady James with his 3rd tackle of the early going in this ball game tonight.
Ron, 3 out of 4 first downs. Tennessee's got over 8 yards. So, again, managing the change for a young quarterback. You've got to credit Philip Fulmer, Randy Sanders for the play calling, because they're never putting their quarterback in bad situations.
When you see the average...
Adrian can play quarterback for them, with those situations.
Speaking of Adrian, we need to placate him just a bit. We've had to put tie downs on his body. Northwestern, how about that? Number 3 last week. This week they knocked off, number 16? Both on the road. Outstanding by the Wildcats. Under 6 to play in the first quarter. From the shotgun, he gives it to Henry, and he gets outside.
Coming back, though, there's a clip at the line of scrimmage, and I believe they're going to get Anthony Herrera, the end man on the line of scrimmage with block and blow. That's coming back.
Trevor Falk is the man who got stiff-armed there and pushed Travis Henry out of bounds. I was watching Falk in the pregame warm-up, and when the scout team ran the play against the defense, he just annihilated the running back, his own teammate. And the coaches talk about, you can see this guy is really put together, but he plays at 110%, the relative cousin of Marshall Falk.
Yeah, and they have only 1 senior on their defensive starting unit, Fred Booker, the corner. But both these linebackers you're talking about, Trev Falk and Brady James, now they can play for anybody in the country. They're active linebackers. They'll hit you. They're good in pass coverage, and they can play this game.
He had some really complimentary things, speaking of Falk, to say about Travis Henry yesterday. He said, I've looked at a lot of video on him. He's not big, but he is very, very tough. So, over the middle, incomplete. Cedric Wilson wanted a flag. There will be none.
Philip Fulmer 1-1 too.
Well, coming up shortly over on ESPN2, the BYU Cougars have come east to battle Syracuse. Troy Nunes and the Orangemen looking to get their 500 mark together. For the Big East heavyweights, come call it. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet. And that kickoff comes in just a couple of minutes on ESPN2.
I look for Syracuse to rebound. They've been playing poorly.
How about BYU? This is their third trip all the way across country.
I want to make sure everybody saw Lavelle Edwards at the end.
Suggs steps up, got him across the middle. Wilson again, and Cedric's going to be knocked back, but they'll give him forward progress to the 29. So it's a gain of 15 yards. Ryan Clark is there to make the tackle first.
And Ron had talked again about A.J. Suggs and the players liking him. Cedric Wilson and he were out on the field well in an hour and 15-20 minutes before anybody really was in here, and they were throwing routes, and Cedric Wilson knows what A.J. Suggs is thinking. He knows what Cedric Wilson is thinking.
Cedric, senior out of Memphis, Tennessee. Third down. If they want to keep this thing going or have to go for a field goal, they need to take it inside the 25. Suggs from the shotgun. Drills this one incomplete. Probably threw it just a touch too hard to Wilson.
Yeah, good move by Cedric Wilson to get open. Just not manageable for the wide receiver senior. Good shape. Just can't hold on. Hook fin on coverage.
That hook fin turned around, but it was just a tad high and a little too much steam on it. So it looks as though Alex Walls, sophomore out of Bristol, Virginia, will come in and attempt a 36 or 37. We're going to say 47. And if he hits it, it's a season long for him. Kick is on the way, and just like Corbello, it is a 47-yard field goal. So a pair of those, and we are tied at the 4-minute and 32-second mark of this opening quarter from Baton Rouge. Well, tonight's Aflac trivia question. 4 SC schools are currently coached by one of its former players, the most of any conference in the country. Could you name these 4 head coaches? We'll have the answer later on, and you know that. This one's very easy.
I know one of them.
Well, you stop and think about it. You know all 4.
I can't give it away, but there's one of them.
And we won't tell them anymore, but you're exactly right.
Georgia, 38. Arkansas.
And while we have a second, let's check in with Brian Kenny back in the studio. Brian.
Ron, go to the Big East. Miami and Rutgers. Last 3 in this series, 55-0, 53-17, and 51-23 all to Miami. James Jackson going in 39 yards. And Miami leads Rutgers 14-0. Ron.
All righty. I'm going to trouble getting used to those new uniforms at Miami.
Yeah, Tennessee fans just heard the Mississippi State score, so no one likes Florida. I mean, you know, all the times that they announce the score, everybody yells.
Scoring time almost 5 minutes, 39 yards and 12 plays. Well, the Tennessee faithful know, as you look at Myers, he's back with Dominic Davis. Williamson about to kick it off. And Tennessee will take care of business here tonight. It really sets up showdown next week. Dominic Davis from just inside the 10. Week number 5 in the NFL tomorrow. Start your day with Chris Berman and the gang on the NFL Countdown. That's 11 a.m. Eastern. Then at 7 o'clock, NFL Primetime for all the scores, highlights, and analysis. Then it's Sunday Night Football in Atlanta taking on Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So we got a good one going down in the Delta of Louisiana here tonight in Baton Rouge. Tennessee and LSU tied at 3. With Robinson in motion as they roll the pocket. Davis got it right there to Josh Reed. Reed being wrestled down as he makes it almost to the 40, and that's enough for the first down because it's good for 17.
And the fans like Rohan Davies start tonight. Josh Reed, a converted tailback. second in the ACC. The pass receiving yards coming in this football game just adds to it. Again with a good throw from Davey.
Mike, one of the difficult things for Rohan, and in talking with him yesterday was very honest. I said, Rohan, you're heavy. And he said, he has a penalty, 15 yards being tacked on against Tennessee. The youngster, after having the knee surgery and missing spring, he really can't even run sprints with the team after workouts. And Jack Marucci, the trainer, said we're having to do it at the training table rather than to exercise. And he probably is about 15 to 20 pounds more than we would like, close to 240.
And what you worry about that, Ron, is in the fourth quarter of a ball game, whether he'll fatigue or not if it's a close football game.
Play action. Nope. He gives it off, and it's a good thing because Tennessee was really pinching on the side. Tad Golden will come up and make the tackle. It's going to be a gain of a couple.
I get the feeling now John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, sitting up in this press box, he's saying, hey, we're letting Rohan Davey get off to a good start. We're building the confidence in his fans. And yeah, we're going to come after him. I think you mentioned the last play they were coming. I think you can expect a lot more pressure on Rohan Davey than you've seen so far in this ball game. Getting too comfortable.
You see the numbers on Tennessee, and that's just what Coach said. But he swings the pass to Davis, and a good open field tackle. Tad Golden, nice one-on-one job. They're going to say he made it just inside the 50-yard line, so we'll spot it at the 49.
Well, the blitz is coming from Tennessee. They're coming from the secondary. Teddy Gaines is coming, but man-to-man, Anthony Sessions got to come out and make this tackle. Here's John Chavis. He likes his defense. He likes the speed of this defense.
And boy, they are just that. Third down, they need 4. Davey, far sideline this time. Got it complete to Robinson. Swings around, and he'll have the first. Reggie Robinson, a junior out of Shreveport, tackled by Rashad Moore. Adrian, let's check with you again.
Ron, in that conversation that you had yesterday with Rohan Davey, he said, you know, this is all I really wanted. You know, I was put in the Auburn game last year, and I said I was going to be the guy, and then Coach Donano pulled me out. Then I had the one series at Auburn. All I really want is the opportunity to settle in and run a couple of series. I know I can get the job done. His dream is really kind of coming true here right now, moving the ball very well.
Well, that's true, and he also said this team doesn't care who starts at quarterback as long as a quarterback can show some consistency. And that is a great point. Deep drop this time. Pressure off the corner, going to go deep. And he's got a man there, and it's overthrown. Wow, Josh Reed was there. Got the defensive back. Teddy Gaines turned around. And Brian Kenny, let's check with you again.
Ron, let's get to number 1 Nebraska taking on Missouri. Missouri actually led in this game 7-0, but here Eric Crouch drops that off to Corral Buckhalter. Buckhalter going in 34 yards. Nebraska takes the lead. It's 14-7 second quarter. Ron?
All righty. Well, the Huskers,
At the 43-yard line.
a bruising football team, particularly on the offensive side of the ball.
They're not killing people this year so far.
The defense has not really shut people down the way they had in the past. 2nd and 10, short drop this time. And the first man by missed the tackle, but Josh Reed will be hit by the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. As Tennessee had orange jerseys all over the place. Westmoreland, and he's the last guy off the pile.
This is the bubble screen that we saw LSU and Josh Moody run against Auburn very successfully, but Tennessee watched that same tape, and Eric Westmoreland was moving right on the throw. Josh Moody, tough night for him. Doesn't get to start. The crowd's all excited about Rohan Davey, but he's still got a future here as a quarterback.
Yep, I agree with you. About to go into a minute left in this opening quarter. Davey. Nice job. Picks his man at the 30 with Reggie Robinson. Mike, it looked as though Robinson may have been his 2nd or 3rd choice.
Yeah, he had. It's a good point you make because he's got so much time back there that he's able to fire, look for one. He's looking to the left side. Now he comes back to Reggie Robinson on a curl route in front of Teddy Gaines. So as long as you're going to give Rohan Davey that time, he's going to be able to find the receiver.
Robinson now 2 catches for a total of 22. As we said, young man out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Pitch back. Davis. I see what the coaches mean. He runs really, really hard. We didn't see him that much against Auburn. It was primarily Tofield. Tofield was injured early on in the second offensive series, so Dominic Davis has come in and going to have a tough time unseating him the way he's running the ball.
He's running hard, and he got a good blocks by Tommy Banks and Joe DiMaggio on that play.
Now look at this.
Yeah, right away tonight they've had success running the football.
They are standing and they are applauding here in Baton Rouge. No real mistakes by LSU in that opening quarter. That's what's been killing them. And as a result, at the end of 15 minutes, they are tied 3 apiece with the number 11 team in the nation, the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll take a break. Jam-packed tonight as you looked at some cap mushrooms there and some folks who couldn't get tickets, so they're watching on television and enjoying their favorite beverage along with some chow. Inside the stadium, these folks are just going wild. All they want these Tigers to do is win, obviously, but they want some consistency in play, and they've gotten it so far tonight. Davis tries to bounce it outside, and a nice job defensively by Tennessee. Will Overstreet will be out there to make the stop. Sessions already with 4 tackles for the Volunteers. 3 solo tackles, 1 sack. And Falk for LSU with 4 tackles.
And Rohan Davey off to a good start. He was 11 for 11 in the opener. And he's already in the first quarter, he's 6 for 9.
A.J. Suggs on the other side of the field. 10th play of the drive coming up for LSU. 3rd down, Tofield comes in, and he is grabbed by the ankles. I don't know if he got that or not. The spot on the near side looks as though he's a little short.
You're not going to beat Tennessee here tonight with field goals.
Well, we go back to a point that was made when Tennessee played Florida up at Knoxville. Rather than scoring touchdowns, can't do it with field goals.
Cost him the football game. And Nick Saban knows that. He knows he can't beat this football team kicking 3 points.
Did not make it there. You see the distance, about a half a yard. We're tied at 3, early going second quarter.
And they'll be tough to make a half yard on.
The stack eye, Tofield on the right side, he's got it.
I've been impressed with LSU's offensive line. You talked about the injuries in this offensive line. The coaches from Tennessee, the defensive coaches, talked about how impressed they were with the offensive line of LSU. And Smalling and Pierce and Lewis Williams are doing some good blocking up front.
Lewis Williams, normally the right guard, replacing John Compton at center. Bob Wynn unable to go tonight because of a neck injury. And so Rodney Reed replacing him. So 3 new faces there. Backside pressure. Davey gets it away. Driving open at the 2-run touchdown. Josh Reed.
This has been the Rohan Davey Show. He has given new life to this LSU offensive football team, who last week had 6 turnovers, 6 drop passes, and 13 penalties.
John Corbello, the sophomore out of Lafayette, makes it a 10-3 LSU lead. Nall, the number 3 quarterback, giving a hug and congratulations to Rohan Davey. Mike's right. The Davey Show so far. Bill's Oyster Bar, one of the many good seafood houses here in town, cracking those oysters. They'll be eating a lot of them after the game tonight if this one continues this way. As you look at Josh Reed, was a running back. They moved him over 8 games ago in the Alabama game, and boy, he has taken a giant step forward. That's already his 4th touchdown pass this year.
They caught a lot of passes against Auburn.
Leonard Scott from the 7. Leonard will take it out to around the 29. It's a 21-yard return. Aaron Damon on the special team.
You talked earlier about the magnitude of this ball game going into next week's ball game for Tennessee, and everybody had Georgia buried. All of a sudden, they've knocked the coffin open, and
they look really good today.
They're alive.
Clausen, Casey Clausen, a freshman out of Northridge, California, who did not play in her game up in Knoxville against Southern Mississippi. He has had problems with his shoulder. He had tendonitis as well. He played last week. They were pleased. They said they'd get him in tonight, third or fourth series. And a throw on first down, and I'm not sure he got the play off.
We talked about Casey Clausen's injury, tendonitis in the arm.
Delay of game on the offense.
And you find that a lot in freshmen when they come into your camp, because all of a sudden they haven't done as much as you ask them to do. And he stayed around the summer. He threw 5-6 days a week. He was lifting weights, and all of a sudden his arm fell off, and he just had it. And they just work harder than they've worked in high school.
Well, that's a great point. Again, it's first down. Clausen swings this one out to. Be careful. Well, that's an area you don't want to overthrow, because that is a pick after the touch, and it will go for a touchdown.
And I really believe that they scripted this quarterback spot tonight for Casey Clausen. They would have liked a different situation, not LSU to be ahead, but I believe this is a series he was told he was going to come in. We've seen a lot of that this year, and it's backfires sometimes, because Rohan Davey, when he came in a tough spot against Auburn, and they never recovered.
That was extremely difficult over in Auburn for Rohan. They'll go with the running play. This one right at the middle. Travis Henry hit by Howard Green. And now the situation is going to be a third down, and they still got plus 10 to pick up the first down.
Now here's where LSU's got to force a turnover. They figure that Casey Clausen, he just come into the football game, his third play. Here's where you want to get after him a little bit. See if you can create a turnover and give your offense good field position.
So let's see what the Tigers come up with. Third down. To maintain this possession, Tennessee needs to bring it out to the 39.5. Volunteers trail it 10-3. Here comes the pressure off the corner. Long pass near sideline, and incomplete. No flag. Cedric Wilson, the intended receiver.
Ryan Clark running stride for stride. And when we talked to Phil Almation this week, the defensive coordinator, he said he had an outstanding game against UAB.
I just found a flag thrown in the secondary, in the backfield of Tennessee.
Holding on the offense, penalty, refused, fourth down.
So here's where Tennessee's big weapon has got to come through again. David Leverton needs to flip the field on LSU and not allow the Tigers to gain good field position.
Casey Clausen's going to hang this up a little higher on the outside.
Second punt of the night. This off the side of his foot a bit. Line drive, but it takes a Tennessee bounce, and there will be no return. Boy, this one turned golden. Dominic Davis had the ball take a quick left in front of him, so it's 47 yards on this kick. 48 and 47 by Leverton. He does his work. Tigers by 7. Let's take a break. Beautiful night shot here just over the water, looking into Tiger Stadium. The city kind of shuts down when this ball club is playing. It is so very important that you're either home watching or listening or here at Tiger Stadium. Navy started off 1 for 3, 7 yards since then. Mike, he's 6 of 7 for 60 yards and a touchdown. Tofield back in the lineup, gets the handoff, big head of steam. Has 5, has 10, 15, 20.
LSU coaches this week, they said we had our best couple days of practice early in the week coming off that UAB game.
Extra point by Corbello. He knocks it home.
And you play like you practice.
Who would have thought it? A lot of football left, but what a shocker so far. 77 yards by Tofield. 17-3 Tigers. Over on the sideline, A.J. Suggs, the freshman out of Powder Springs, Georgia, loosening up. So I would assume, Mike, that Casey Clausen is going to head back to the bench.
He didn't look settled down when the 3 plays he was in. Of course, they get a delay of game in the first play. Now he's behind the chains.
Look at Eric Westmoreland. And this is what a senior's supposed to do. Like a caged, tonight, not lion, but tiger. He's been pacing the sideline and barking at his fellow defenders. We got to pick it up, guys. On the 17. Locke breaks a tackle. Good containment. Lost the football. Recovered by Tennessee. Whoa, boy.
Eric Locke, a wide receiver. Tennessee tried him at quarterback early in the year. He's from Tennessee, went to Alabama, transferred back to Tennessee. David Palmer was his favorite player. He likes wearing that number 2. Gave Tennessee pretty decent field position.
Tell you what, if Chavis Smith had not been right there, that could have been a heartbreaking situation for the Volunteers, because that ball came loose as he was going down. But as you point out, they've got good field position to start from at the 35. Maybe 4.5 yards. Brady James makes the stop, and Brian Kenny, let's go to you again.
Ron, let's get your baseball update here. Look at these scores. That's not a safety. Rangers with 2. A's whooped on them 23-2. Mariners over the Angels 21-9. Indians also won. So in the American League, it will go down to the final day of the regular season. You can see these games on ESPN2 on Sunday. Toronto, Cleveland, Seattle, Anaheim, Texas, and Oakland. We'll explain at the half. Ron?
23 runs. Art Howe might grow some more hair. Suggs right over the middle. He's got it complete to Martin. And Martin being shoved back now. Well, the spot that they have given them, it's got to be a Tennessee first down. And I've heard you say this a million times. This is a shocker early. But there's so much football left to be played here tonight. The biggest thing Tennessee needs to not do is panic.
No, and Philip Fulmer's not going to allow them to panic, because they knew they were going to get a heavy punch from LSU early, because they stunk the place up last week against UAB. So they're going to come out here and play their best football. So you just got to absorb it, stay in the ball game, don't panic, and get back in slowly but surely.
So protection breaks down, goes long with this one, and the flag is going to be thrown at the 12. Eric Parker, the intended receiver. Brookfin was one of the men there battling with him.
A lot of hands, but I believe they're going to call it on LSU. Both the offensive guy, Eric Parker, and Demetrius Hookfin were tied up. Wouldn't surprise me either way, but I think it's going to go against LSU.
Pass interference by the defense. 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage and an automatic first down.
A.J. Suggs really makes this by sidestepping the rush, and now throws the football. And Eric Parker, and they're tied up, but I believe the call is right call on Demetrius Hookfin.
So with the penalty, it moves the ball to the LSU just outside the 33-yard line. They lead 17-3. Just over 10 minutes to play until halftime. Here comes the blitz off the corner. They give it to Henry. Short. Maybe 2, maybe 3 yards. Kipps along with Brady James. And let's go to the sideline again. Adrian, what do you got for us, big guy?
Well, Ron, a reminder, none of us want to be premature. But I got to tell you, after that last Bayou Bengals score, standing down in front of all these thousands of students looking into the faces of the players and coaches here on the LSU side, remember Florida here in 1997. And the week before, LSU had barely beaten Vanderbilt 7-6. Everyone was talking doom and gloom. And then we saw that night, all of us, one of the biggest upsets of the college football season. The same feeling down on this sideline right now, Ron.
Adrian, don't break out the champagne just yet. Is this a pretty good football team, Tennessee?
Travis Henry. Leading the charge, Muskegon Barnes, number 91, a big junior out of Moss Point, Mississippi.
This is a good defensive football team. You got good down linemen. Muskegon Barnes making plays. We talked about Jarvis Green. Got good sets of linebackers. And they're going to pick on number 33, Demetrius Hookfin. He's where you got to go because Fred Booker's the senior on the other side. They got a lot of respect for him, so you go after the young guy, the sophomore, number 33.
Third down. The line to make is the 28.5 of LSU. Suggs got it complete at the 23-yard line. It's Eric Parker. 12 yards in the pass play, and it's first down Volunteers.
A couple things happened there, Ron. Travis Henry made a key block on the blitz. They brought the strong safety on the blitz. Travis Henry makes the play. Then you work Eric Parker against Demetrius Hookfin. Demetrius Hookfin, he's going to need oxygen because they're going to keep coming after him. And now he's a good corner. He's a young corner, but they found something over here, and they're going to keep trying him out.
Demetrius, a sophomore out of Kentwood, Louisiana. They yanked him in the Auburn game for Robert Davis, but he has taken over that spot again. From the shotgun, Travis Henry belting his way inside the 20. Kyle Kipps making another tackle tonight. Kyle obviously adapting nicely from offense over to the defensive side. Was a starting tight end, one of the starting tight ends for the LSU Tigers last year. But they had a surplus of people there, and they said, hey, how about defense? And he said, that's great, just as long as I can play.
Ron, in high school, he was a defensive player. He had 130 tackles, 7 sacks, 7 cross fumbles. So he played defense in high school and liked it.
Henry, 12 carries, 43 yards. Suggs going to take it to the end zone. He's got a man. Did he stay in bounds? Cut it out of Eric Parker.
Pretty good coverage by Demetrius Hookfin. They're going to keep working him. Eric Parker on a fading up.
Well, what has happened is here in the stadium, the big screens, the jumbotrons, the fans are looking at that. It's a perfect call. It's he did not have possession. Third down. Here comes the blitz. They roll the pocket. Suggs are going to have to hurry. Rifles this one short. Ryan Clark is the man who was coming from the secondary, the free safety, and going against the grain, so to speak. That was a difficult throw.
They had the right call on because the strong safety came from Ryan Clark came from the top of the screen. So they sprinted away. They had the right call, but he couldn't get his shoulders turned. Right-hand quarterback, sprint to the left. You got to get your shoulders turned. He wasn't able to do it.
Alex Walds will come in and attempt a 36-yard field goal from that right hash mark. They got a 47-yarder earlier and add a 36-yard one to his tally tonight. So with 7 minutes, 15 seconds left until halftime, our new score, LSU 17 and Tennessee 6. We'll be back right after this. That's A.J. Suggs on the phone talking with Randy Sanders upstairs. Casey Clausen, who came in for a series and then gave way to Suggs again, who was the starter tonight. So for Clausen, he's going to have to stand for a bit. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised unless his ball game changes a lot. I wouldn't be surprised we may not see him again tonight.
No, I think A.J. Suggs gives him the best chance right now because he's in the flow of the game. Casey Clausen looked like he was a little nervous when he hit the field for those 3 plays.
Derek Williamson will kick it off. Dominic Davis, one of the deep people, along with Gerald Myers. From the 6, Myers. Myers actually ran into his own man. 28 yards on the return. Well, next Saturday on ESPN, College Game Day, 11 a.m. Eastern. Then on ESPN2, the Pittsburgh Panthers take on Syracuse. That's 4:30 Eastern. And at prime time back here on ESPN, Mike, Adrian, and myself will be between the hedges as Tennessee faces the Georgia Bulldogs. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the Internet. Georgia won big today in Fayetteville. Florida lost in Starkville as Dominic Davis checks back into the lineup, replacing Tofield. He had that 75-yard touchdown run just a moment ago. They pitch it to Davis, gets by one tackler, but he'll be stopped after a couple more, and that's Sessions.
It's a game of adjustments. You see how the team's going to block you, and then John Chavis has to make the adjustment with his defensive staff. So we'll see as this game goes along. I believe John Chavis feels like Rohan Davies had too much time. The running game's hurt him a little bit, so he's going to pick up the pace of his defense with some calls.
Tennessee, now our LSU comes out, and look at this. They got 4 receivers set. Davey from a shotgun. Got it complete. That's Myers. 45, and knocked out of bounds at the 46. That's good for 12 yards. D'Angelo Lloyd defensively.
Gerald Myers is a good receiver, too. You look at this receiving corps. He's the second leading receiver on this football team with 13 catches coming into this ball game. Now, a twist by the defensive line trying to get pressure on Rohan Davey, but he throws the quick pass to Gerald Myers.
You can see Anthony Sessions kind of overran it, did not have an opportunity to adjust and make the tackle. Myers out of Houston, Texas. First down, pressure up the middle, he's hit. It is complete. That's Davis. And Davis knocked out of bounds as he crosses midfield and down to the 47. And you talk about a game of inches and seconds. A half second more, and he never would have gotten that pass away.
You know what Rohan Davies thinking? Why haven't I been the quarterback? You know, I'm doing everything right. He gets hit by Will Overstreet. Gets the ball out to Dominic Davis, the outlet receiver. Man coverage again or a zone blitz, and no one's covering the back coming out of the backfield.
Hey, listen, what an adjustment by Dominic Davis to get back. He had to go backwards to catch that football. 17-6 LSU. Clock shows 6:11 left until halftime. Play action, frozen for a moment. Davies pass. Complete at the 33 to Eric Edwards, the tight end. A big freshman out of Monroe. Good for 17 yards, and Davies shaking a little bit.
He's coming up limping. Josh Moody pulling for the new starter, Rohan Davey. Everything Rohan Davey is picking up right now is working for LSU.
That's D'Angelo Lloyd, who hit him after the pass was delivered. 10 of 13, 102 yards for Davey, and a touchdown. Davey steps up, hit as he throws, looking for the end zone, and that receiver had been pushed out of bounds. He could not come back and get that ball.
Davies pass.
Rohan Davies hurt, Ron. I tell you, he comes up limping a little bit. You can see he's not putting any weight on his left foot.
John Henderson hit him that time. Lloyd on the play before that.
Yeah, the first quarter, they didn't hit him. I mean, he was not taken to the ground.
And you can see some action there on the bench. It looks as though Booty is, he might start throwing the football some. Yep. 2nd and 10 from the Tennessee 31-yard line. Short drop this time, swings it out, and there's Reed. And Rohan Davey limps off the field at the 38-yard line.
Caught him on the bubble screen again. 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. 4 seconds. 2 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 seconds.
Corbello tries to make it a 24-6 LSU lead. And he does. Some of the young stars tonight that have stepped up big. Tofield with a 75-yard run, but Josh Reed is coming up aces on every play that they have included him on. And as Mike said in the bubble screen, they push it in the end zone. Now the concern, what about Rohan Davey?
Here's the bubble screen, but look at Tennessee's defensive backs now. Right here, he's got the football and gets good blocks from Gerald Myers downfield, and there's nobody there to tackle him.
And of course, in college football, as long as that ball is caught behind the line of scrimmage, it can block downfield. And it was key on that play right there. Josh Reed, that's 5 touchdowns for him this year, the converted running back. Put out at wide receiver.
Here's the previous play when Rohan Davey got hit and his knee's been bothered a little bit. They're going to check him on the sidelines, but he's off to a great first half.
Jack Marucci, the trainer, you can see him down with the remainder of his staff as Josh Reed is.
Well, he's been impressive.
Oh, he really has. 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions. You should look into the eyes of Scott Corbello, set to kick it off. Can't celebrate too early because you kick it to Scott and get lazy on the special teams and he'll take it 100. Here comes Scott right at the middle. Breaks one tackle, will not get by the second at the 25-yard line. And let's go to the sideline. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Rohan Davey got kicked on the top of his left ankle, high on the ankle, right where it meets the bottom of the shin bone. Removed all the tape. They're going to retape the ankle. Has nothing to do with his left knee where he wears that brace. They're going to retape the ankle a little bit more loosely, Ron, than he did when he started the game, and should be back in here shortly.
Okay, that's well, sorry that the youngster is injured, but glad it is not his knee, a reoccurrence of surgery that kept him out the entire spring. Travis Stevens has checked into the backfield for Tennessee, giving the break to Travis Henry at tailback. Stevens wears number 34. Volunteers got to go to work now. Suggs pulled it down, now throws it out of bounds, and a flag comes in at the 44.
Now this might be on Cedric Wilson because it looked like he pushed off on this play. Demetrius Hookfin, Ryan Clark covering. Although they may get Hookfin for holding too. I believe they're going to get Hookfin.
From the body language of those defensive linemen there, I think you're right.
Holding by the defense against an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Cedric Wilson, the wide receiver. Nick Saban doesn't like this call. Against Hookfin. There's the hold right there. Now you'll see number 14, Cedric Wilson, push, but I believe it's a good call on Demetrius Hookfin. So they line up Dante Stallworth on Hookfin now. He has a lot more speed than the other wide receivers for Tennessee.
Well, we'll see if they try to dial his number from the 35. Suggs looking that way, and that's who they get it to. Cedric Wilson actually couldn't hold on. Ryan Clark there to make the defensive play. And right now, Tennessee, because of the urgency I'm sure that they're feeling, down by 18 points, they seem out of sync on offense.
Well, they do, and I was thinking the same thing. Phil Almation, the defensive coordinator for LSU, is getting the game plan that he wants. You know, see Tennessee 45 yards rushing. Nothing big. Make Tennessee work the field with a young quarterback.
And the young quarterback Suggs is 5 of 11, 36 yards. Suggs under pressure, and he's going to be tripped up. That's Howard Green, the big junior out of Donaldsonville, Louisiana, number 95, and he's only a junior, 319 pounds.
And this LSU football team, if they've done one thing poorly, it's get sacks this year. They came into this game with only 1 sack. And Howard Green gets a sack of A.J. Suggs or forces him out of the pocket. No sack.
No sack because he was going for it, but you're right. When I looked at that stat, I thought it had to be wrong. Only 1 sack for the year.
Last in the SEC.
Third down. They need 9, and they set up the middle screen. And that's Scott. And Leonard tackled there again. It's Howard Green. Last game we had the Tigers on, it was Jarvis Green who put on a show. And tonight, his cousin Howard is the man who's doing the damage. They are standing and cheering. It is a wild scene, particularly in the student section here at LSU. They were huge underdogs in this ballgame tonight, and they lead it by 18. Leverton's punt. This spiral's not going to turn over, and caught by Davis at the 26. Breaks by a couple of tackles, and will take it for about 10 more yards. So it's 33 yards in the kick and 13 on the return. Okay, the answer to tonight's Aflac trivia question. 4 SEC schools currently coached by one of its former players, and that's the most of any conference in the country. The answer, obviously, Phil Fulmer, Tennessee. This one also, Steve Spurrier, Florida. Mike DuBose at Alabama, and Houston Nutt at Arkansas.
Easy.
Yep.
LSU would like to put another score on the board with 3:56. They have all 3 of their timeouts left.
Rohan Davey, they got him retaped. Tofield is at tailback. So Davey at quarterback. And the pitch goes to Tofield. This time they corral him to an extent. Lost the football. Rashad Moore, a sophomore out of Huntsville, Alabama, making the stop.
Ball came out.
This Tennessee defense, we had them against Southern Miss, and they were flying all over the field. But tonight, they seem a little passive. And they credit LSU. They credit their offensive line.
No question about it. Lewis Williams moving from right guard over to center. Rodney Reed playing. Smalling and Winey the tackles. They've done an outstanding job. And that play is going to be whistled down before it starts. Pierce looked as though he moved on that offensive front before the ball was snapped. 3 minutes, 9 seconds left until halftime.
Before the snap, movement by the offensive line, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
One of the things that this man is trying to get his kids to buy into, and that is the fact that I can just watch him practicing and talking with the youngsters. It's a fragile crew because they have not won many SEC games in the last 2 years. And they have made so many mistakes. Tonight they've gotten off to a much, much better start. But little things like right here, you can't forget the urgency and also the focus, because Tennessee is a plenty good enough team to come back and catch you.
One thing that Nick Saban added to what you're saying there, he doesn't want to help Tennessee. Make them work the field. Make them go 80 yards and see if they can make some mistakes with their young quarterback.
Because to date, what LSU has done in this ballgame this evening, they have made the Tennessee defense stay on the field for a long period of time. Davey, too high, and he's going to be knocked down. Now, back-to-back plays, back-to-back mistakes. And it's exactly what we were talking about. As you take a look at Lewis Williams, not normally the center. He normally is the right guard. He's replacing John Compton tonight. And all of a sudden now it is a third down, and they need close to 20 yards. I think they're going to see about 19.
Ron, Tennessee has 2 timeouts. They'll start using their timeouts because, you know, they want the football back with one more chance to score before halftime. It's a play where I think you run the football and settle your team down a little bit.
Here you see a 3rd and 19. They need to take it out just across the 46-yard line, their own 46. That's what they do with a running play straight ahead. Well short of the first down, but now Ritzman made that tackle. They'll bring Donnie Jones in and hope that the freshman from right here in Baton Rouge can kind of flip the field on Tennessee, so to speak. Second punt for him, his first of the night, was 40. A little bit of a line drive. Eric Parker, number 80, the deep man for Tennessee.
Use as much as that clock as you can.
Coming after it. Left footer to this is a good one here. Wobbly spiral, caught, and Parker at 25 gets by one tackler, will not get by the second, and he was tackled by the face mask. Well, this may be the major. This may be a 15-yard face mask penalty. 43 yards and a kick and a -2 on the return. Let's see if they say incidental or 15 yards.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask on the kicking team during the return. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So rather than great coverage holding him just inside the 25-yard line, now Tennessee is going to scrimmage all the way out at the 39.
Ron, it may have been on Adrian Mayes, number 23. Yeah, there's the penalty. Good pictures again by our crew.
Travis Henry, the setback, as LSU was late getting one of their defensive linemen on the field. Suggs running up into the pocket. He's going to rush it. Hit hard from behind as he gets near the 50-yard line, and it was Jarvis Green who made the tackle.
Not every team in the country practices this situation. Coach tells you got 120, you got 2 timeouts. We need a touchdown, so you work this every Wednesday and Thursday in your practice sessions.
A.J. Suggs deep in the pocket, swings it out to Henry. Good side step and a smart move. He got what he could, got out of bounds, and stopped the clock. And Brian Kenny, let's go back to the studio and check with you.
Ron, coming up at the Half Sports Center in game, we'll have the American League going down to the final game of the regular season. Chrisley and Kirk in Ann Arbor, and Missouri off to a pretty good start against Nebraska. That and the Olympic update. We'll see you at the half. Ron?
Okay, we look forward to it. Our situation down here in Baton Rouge, exactly 60 seconds left until halftime, and LSU, the underdog, with a big 24-6 lead over number 11 Tennessee. Suggs runs up into the pocket, going to be hit by Howard Green. I'm telling you, the relatives have made a green mess of the Tennessee offense tonight, haven't they?
The Greens are always into play, but I don't believe A.J. Suggs got set on that play. He was moving toward the line of scrimmage.
So there's a timeout on the field, and we're going to take it with him. 24-6 LSU. So as we come back, 46 seconds left until halftime. I talked about the Greens and how they have just interrupted everything tonight. Howard Green, the big right tackle, 6'3", 319 out of Donaldsonville, Louisiana. 6 tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack.
You also said that LSU's kept Travis Henry in check. Here's where he could be a dangerous receiver filtering out of the backfield.
Suggs, and he swings it out. And it's Stevens from the same position, but he runs it back into the middle of the field and is tackled after a short gain. He probably should have kept it to the outside.
Yeah, Travis Henry should have gone straight up the football field instead of trying to bring it back against the grain. Takes too much time. Clock moving
rapidly. 24, now 23 seconds. Suggs, you see the blitz up the middle. Got it complete. That's Martin. And Martin will take it inside the 20-yard line. And now a timeout is called to stop the clock with 16 seconds until halftime. What do you do, Mike, with this much time left? Give it a shot in the end zone, and then if you're unsuccessful, go for the field goal?
Yeah, you got one shot here to throw to the end zone. And then you take the field goal because you can build on the field goal. You're only down 15. Get back to halftime. Make your adjustments. Come out in the second half and put pressure on LSU a little bit. They're playing freewheeling right now because of this lead.
Well, the odds-on thing, or the high percentage thing, is if you do, and you got to make it for the end zone. It can't be short of there because with no timeouts left, then you don't get the opportunity. But Alex Walls on the year is 8 of 8. has been very, very consistent in his longest 42 yards against Florida.
Yeah, Ron, you've got the benefit. You can pick up a first down and kill the clock. The first down markers at the 9-yard line, but you can't throw it shorter than that. You won't get the second play off.
So they're kind of going through with the young quarterback on the sideline. I'm sure just the things you're talking about, a litany of you got to remember. Don't throw the pass short, or if you don't have the man clearly open, either throw it out of bounds or throw it out of the end zone.
Don't cost it the field goal. Don't take a sack. We have talked about every offensive team works against this. Every defensive team usually go ones against ones on Wednesday and Thursday, so they both know the situation.
You're looking to the eyes of Trev Falk, the middle linebacker. The situation.
Dante Stallworth down here on the hook fin.
We'll watch it. Suggs looks the other way, gets it complete, and boy, that is going to be short to Eric Parker, and it's just what we were talking about. They're not going to have time to get the special teams on. 4 seconds, down to 3, down to 2, and just what Mike Gottfried said they could not afford to do, they did. They'd have been better off with an incompletion.
Okay, Coach Fulmer, frustrating first half. I think LSU has had the momentum right from the opening kickoff. How do you get that back in the second half?
We're not that far down. We got to keep pounding the rock right now. We've run into a very mad football team, a talented football team. We knew that. Coming in, we've got a good second half play in front of us.
18 points down. Is your team desperate right now at all?
No, they're not desperate. We'll be all right.
All righty, Adrian, great hustle. It is halftime with our score, the LSU Tigers surprisingly 24, Tennessee 6. Now it's SportsCenter in-game. Brian Kenny with the Buick halftime report. Brian. Saturday nights, many think that is a real situation. And boy, they got a huge upset going right now, but we got 30 minutes of football left to play. Mike, we take a look at the comparison of the two quarterbacks tonight, and Rohan Davey really stepped up, and particularly after his opening series, he came on big time.
Ron, he has not been pressured. He's been under control. And when you look at big plays over 15 yards, Tennessee's only had one play over 15 yards, LSU 7. So the defensive strategy of LSU to keep Tennessee and make them work has worked.
You know, another thing, Tennessee's offense, their defense, the most they've given up to a running back this year is 40 yards to Ernest Graham of Florida. Tofield had 100 yards on 7 carries in the first half alone. Corbello to kick it off. Leonard Scott, the deep man for the Tennessee Volunteers. And Leonard, of course, is from Zachary, Louisiana. He would dearly love to break along with. This is returnable. Going to come to Scott at the 12. The return to the right, and a great job of coverage by the LSU special teams. O'Neal on the tackle as we take a look at those first half numbers.
The big numbers is the rushing yardage. Coming in, Tennessee only giving up 47 yards rushing, 123 for LSU already. Passing yardage, Rohan Davey, we talked about 11 out of 15, been near perfect.
Well, let's see if A.J. Suggs can get it going on his opening series for the Volunteers. They're down by 18. They go with the running play. Travis Henry, and boy, they kept him in check. Muskegon Barnes, the junior from Moss Point, Mississippi. And Adrian, let's check with you.
Ron, the LSU offensive line has done a great job in the first half protecting Rohan, but they're going to have to do an even better job, because when they have the opportunity to take a clear shot at that left knee of Rohan's, the Tennessee defense is going to take it. It's just part of college football. It's just part of the game. The problem is his left knee is stable. He's got that brace on there, but when they hit that left knee, it affects his left ankle because he doesn't have any support or brace down there. That's why that left ankle is sore.
For those who were not with us in the first half, Adrian got to report that he got kicked on the ankle, high on the ankle, and that was the reason that he was injured. Travis Henry bounces it outside, but not for much. Ryan Clark is the man who got to him first. And Mike, I think this is key. The fact he does have some yards, but they have kept him in check to the point where he is not the man who's getting them the big yards on first down.
No, 47 yards, only averaging 3.4 yards came into this game. We're well over 5 yards per carry average, but they have kept him in check.
Line to make is out at their own 26. Suggs from the shotgun. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Jeremy Lawrence, a sophomore out of Faraday, Louisiana.
And go back to the kickoff team for LSU, because I think special teams, when you play Tennessee, usually Tennessee wins special teams battles. I think tonight LSU has won the battle so far. They stop them on the 15-yard line, in bad field position.
David Leverton stands back at the 6-yard line. Beautiful high spiral. Wow, this is high and it is long. 36-yard line. And Davis dancing around, still taking people with him, and he'll get a 10-yard return there on a 43-yard punt.
Rohan Davey got the start tonight. The crowd welcomed him with applause. Starting the football game, made a big scramble early in this game in the first quarter, first series. For big yardage and set up a field goal. Then came back with a curl route to Reggie Robinson. Then hit the touchdown pass to Josh Reed.
Josh Reed with 2 touchdown passes in that first half as Tofield gets the pitch, and he's going to be knocked down for a yard loss as D'Angelo Lloyd, number 99, got penetration and made the tackle on the freshman from Independence, Louisiana.
Now you look to Tennessee's defense. If they're going to come back in this football game, they need to get better play of this defensive unit, because you got a young quarterback. You got a redshirt freshman quarterback. LSU making you work the field. You have to change this field position a little bit on defense.
3 wide receivers to the bottom of the screen for the Tigers. And 2nd and 11, but they go with Tofield on the running play as a flag comes down, and this was thrown to the umpire, and it's no good. They did. They fumbled the ball. It's recovered by Tennessee. So 2 errors on 1 play. But the biggest thing for the Volunteers is the fact that they had the football.
On the offense, penalty refused, first down.
They have it at the 46-yard line.
And that's what we're talking about, Ron. The defense is the veteran group here at Tennessee. You see all the pressure they get on Tofield. He drops the football. Now Tennessee gets good field position for their quarterback, A.J. Suggs.
John Henderson with the recovery. To life, beckoning the defense to stand tall, not to let the Volunteers back in this one. That was Martin in motion. Suggs near sideline, got his man open, and that is Eric Parker, as he will be tackled at the 30, and it's a gain of 17 yards.
Good throw by A.J. Suggs. Looked like he had a lot on that football. Good protection by the offensive line.
He went at Huck Finn right off the bat.
Yeah, they're going to work him the entire half. And that's nothing against him. It's just that they have great respect on the other side for number 1, Fred Booker.
Stallworth is out there on Huck Finn this time. From the shotgun. Pressure off the corner, but he throws it complete, and that's Stallworth. Dante, a sophomore out of Sacramento, California. Ryan Clark making the play for the Tigers.
Yeah, Dante Stallworth has the best potential at Tennessee, the wide receiver position, since Carl Pickens came into this ball game with 10 catches. Got a lot of great speed. You watched him a year ago or 2 years ago, and you spotted him right away. You liked him, and you liked his speed.
He's a game breaker, no question about that. 2nd down, and they need about 3 for the first. Suggs for the end zone, and he's got Stallworth there, and he's coming down.
Huckman's going to need oxygen because they're going to keep working him in that corner. But he was up to the challenge here. He gets on the hip of the wide receiver, Dante Stallworth and forces him to go outside. Now, he's got him beat right now, but he has to wait on the football. Knocks him out of bounds. I think you think in terms of 2 plays here, Ron, to get this first down.
Down by 18 points at this portion of the field. I think you're exactly right. Right over the middle. Got his man Martin. And he is going to be stopped at the 16-yard line, but that'll move the change for the Volunteers as Brady James and Ryan Clark combine on the stop. James led the way with 8 tackles in the first half for the Tigers.
Well, Phil Fulmer knows, and I'm sure he told his football team at halftime, you know what, we've got to tighten the pressure up on this LSU team. As long as they got this big lead, they're going to freewheel. We got to make them nervous. We got to get some points on the board, make them nervous, make them tight, make them make mistakes.
Suggs out in the flat. Martin caught it and breaks the tackle. Hit from behind by Trev Falk and knocked forward. And it was Lionel Thomas who had him first, couldn't hold on.
Yeah, but the reason he couldn't hold on is David Martin's 6'4" and 215 pounds. Looks like an NFL wide receiver. Lionel Thomas, 6 foot tall, needed to bring him down, but David Martin made some big yards there. Draw play here, Ron. Got to get the ball to Travis Henry somehow.
From the shotgun, Bartholomew back there as well. He's left in the block, and he swings it out to Henry, makes the catch, fights his way inside the 10, but he's going to be shy of the first down as Brady James makes still another tackle.
Thought it would be a draw, but they threw him the flare pass. Travis Henry, he's valuable not because he can run the ball so well, but he can catch the ball and pick up big yards for you.
Interesting, Brady James now we know with 9 if not 10 tackles in the game. He was one of the youngsters we talked with yesterday as well, and he said, you know, we're trying to make sure that everybody buys into the new thing that's going on here, but we're learning something every day. He said it's like a crash course, and we're having to do a lot of study. Travis Stevens comes in for Tennessee, number 34. 3rd down and short. Play action for the end zone. Wide open touchdown, and Ennis Finlayson.
Great call. Philip Fulmer saying you need to go for 2. John Finlayson, the tight end, blocked right to the corner. Good play action fake by A.J. Suggs.
So if you just joined us and wondered what happened, it was a fumble by LSU's LeBrandon Tofield. Tennessee got it at about the 46.5-yard line, and they have driven it in to score, and it's 24-12 with a 2-point attempt to come.
A.J. Suggs is a good quarterback on the roll. He was a wing T quarterback in high school.
Pressure off the corner. They throw right there, and miscommunication. Cedric Wilson said it was being held, but Suggs didn't throw what he ran.
No, and that play blew up even in the huddle. It didn't look like they were ready for the 2-point play.
So a turnover by LSU, and then the touchdown to the tight end Finlayson, and it makes it a 24-12 LSU lead. So Tennessee scores off the turnover. They miss on the 2-point conversion, and on the sideline, Josh Booty is warming up. You think he's just to get loose? Or?
I think they're a play or a series away from this because I think Rohan Davey made the mistake on the handoff to Tofield. He didn't get the ball planted in there, and so I don't know how much his injury is hurting, but I still believe Davey's going to be the quarterback.
Christian Chauvin has the ball teed up at the 35-yard line, and he will kick off. Dominic Davis and Gerald Myers. The dual safety as LSU is playing, and they're looking maybe for an onside or a pooch kick, and that's what it is, a pooch kick. Fair catch signal for it and made at the 25 by Tommy Banks, the fullback. Very, very smart.
Yeah, it's the one thing you teach a fullback or tight end to do is fair catch it if it's too high, because you don't want Tennessee's players getting down there and hitting you and causing a fumble. So you take the ball at the 25, 26-yard line.
So Rohan Davey is, in fact, the man who will start, and you can see him limping noticeably. But in case you were not here in the first half, Adrian found out it is not the knee that he had surgery on last year. He got kicked high on the ankle. They've retaped it. but that's the reason for the limp. From the shotgun, Davey wafts this one. Did he get it in bounds? No.
Ron, if you're sitting at home tonight, you're saying, why wasn't Rohan Davey the quarterback? And the only answer I can think of is when you have a new coaching staff and you only get 20 days of practice or 15 days of practice in the spring, and he didn't participate in spring ball.
That's right.
So now you come into fall camp and he only practices one practice in 2 a day. So you really didn't get a good look at Rohan Davey. So if this staff had been here for 3 years, I'd say they made a mistake. But now you almost got to understand they just didn't have time to figure out who's the best.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's a cram time because it seems like a lot of time, but when you're putting together that many folks.
Oh yeah, and you're watching everything, and the only thing you go by is your brain, your computer, as you watch every practice. And some staffs will have quarterback problems into the season, and they're in their 4th or 5th years. Now that's tougher because you've watched them all along. But for Nick Saban, this is a fast time right here to make decisions.
It's a big down right here. LSU with a 3rd down and 9. You see the motion, Dan. Hit from behind, and that was a forward pass, I believe. Will Overstreet with his 2nd hurry of the quarterback tonight.
And just what I was thinking, Philip Fulmer has turned up the heat and now LSU looks out of sync. And Tennessee looks like they've got things going a little bit. Need a big punt return here.
Mike, I want to remind you, the last series offensively for LSU in the first half, mistakes and not good. First series, they fumbled the ball. Second series, not a good series.
Yeah, now Rohan Davey did not look like he could move on that play. So now we may be closer to seeing Josh Booty.
Donnie Jones, the punter for LSU on 4th down and 9, and it's Eric Parker again as the deep man. And the left footer's kick. This is a dandy. Wow, turns over all the way back to the 23, fumbles the ball, and recovered by Parker at the 17. The gasp that you heard was from one Philip Fulmer as that ball was dropped following a 50-yard kick and a loss of 6 on the return. Overstreet with pressure, Tennessee with some momentum. ESPN's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Acura. Introducing the all-new Acura CL Sports Coupe. And by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save. Well, it's a marvelous night here in Baton Rouge. Getting cooler now. Temperature is supposed to go into the upper 50s before the evening is over as we look at Rohan Davey really limping noticeably.
I think he's going to be done.
We're going to check. Adrian Carson is on that on the sideline, and hopefully after this play we can get an update on the youngster who has played so well, but that injury seems to have taken its toll.
He doesn't look to me like he can go.
Travis Henry has 5, has 10, counted off as 11 yards, and let's go to the sideline. Adrian, I understand you have an update on Rohan Davey.
Ron, a lot of people might think that the best thing that could happen when you have an ankle injury is to get into the locker room, sit down for 15 minutes, get your weight off of it. Wrong. That's the worst thing that could have happened to Rohan Davey because he weighs 240 pounds and he's carrying a lot of weight on a very tender ankle. It's swelled up in the locker room. Therefore, it's bigger now than it was in the first half. He needed to keep moving around on that rather than put ice on it. That's the problem. He's got less movement now than he did in the end of the first half.
Suggs under pressure, throws this one away very wisely as he had some heavy pressure coming on him by Jarvis Green. I'm telling you, the Green family has just been everywhere tonight, haven't they?
You've been talking a lot about the Greens, Howard and Jarvis. Here's Rohan Davey when he got hit. Adrian Carson keeps talking and referring to his ankle. Here's where he took the hit from Sessions and John Henderson, hurting his ankle. He just looked in the last series like he's stiff right now, and he can't move.
And as the night gets cooler, that doesn't aid him as well. LSU leads it 24-12. Can they maintain the momentum, though? Swing pass, they get a screen block. Leonard Scott knocked down on a nice defensive play by guess who? One of the Greens. This time it's Jarvis.
Jarvis has had a pretty good evening himself tonight. It's a big third down play for this Tennessee offense.
So the situation is Toby Champion in the ball game, replacing Munoz at right tackle. Third down, 11 yards to pick up the first. They need to take it all the way out to the 37. Here comes the blitz. You can see him coming from the secondary. They throw it right there. This could be the play, and they break it with Stallworth. Goes for big yardage in the first down, and they caught LSU in the proper call to run that play.
Ron, you're exactly right. They caught him in a safety blitz, and they hit him right where they wanted to hit him. Dante Stallworth. Here's the safety coming right here. So now he's gone. Now all of a sudden you get the pass down. Now look at all the linemen for Tennessee in great shape to block and pick up the first down. Ryan Clark got blocked.
Suggs back in the pocket, right over the middle, got his man open. Martin inside the 45 to the 43, and that is another Tennessee first down. And right now, LSU's got to do something to wrestle this momentum back.
Yeah, because again, when you have a young defensive football team, only one senior, they can come apart in this kind of situation, and that's what Tennessee wants to apply some heat to these young juniors and sophomores and see if they can stand the heat in the kitchen.
Travis Stevens, number 34, and a tailback. Suggs from the shotgun, near sideline, and it out of the hands of Eric Parker.
He had a shot at it. Eric Parker against Demetrius Hookfin. Demetrius Hookfin's going to sleep tonight.
Yeah. And you know, Mike, as much as we've talked about him, and you've made the point they have picked on him, but that's nothing against him. It's just the fact the fellow on the other side is the old veteran Fred Booker. But he's been up to it.
I was going to say, he's been up to the challenge, though. Fred Booker, the senior, one senior starter on this defense.
Hookfin should have gone to him at halftime and said, hey, Fred, change jerseys with me. Like the twins taking a test for each other. Travis Henry back in the ball game. They come with a blitz, but they run away from it. Turns the corner inside the 35 and still fighting down to the 29-yard line. That's another volunteer first down. A gain of 14 as Thomas comes from the secondary.
And talking about Travis Henry and the Tennessee offense, I like A.J. Suggs right now because now you can see why he's won the quarterback job. Because he's got this team under control, needs to get him in the end zone a couple more times, but he's on his way to developing a lot of confidence by the coaches and the teammates in his play at quarterback.
Kyle Kipps goes to the sideline. Kareem Mitchell, 97, goes to left defensive end. Suggs looking for the end zone, and it is knocked away. And who we just talked about? The way of veteran, Fred Booker knocked it away, and Martin was open for a moment.
Fred Booker, when we talked to him, he said, you know, I'm the only senior starter. I have to keep the defense settled down. He said he's on his third defensive coordinator. You asked him, he said, can that help you? And he said, yeah, when I coach, I've learned all these different styles. But he makes a good play here against David Martin, 6'4".
You can see his ball identification was just, I mean, he read the eyes of the receiver, turned around, and you could tell senior experience on that play right there. They faked the draw, they tried to get the screen, and his knees were down. David Martin had to go low to catch the ball, and that's going to wind up being a play that goes for a loss.
Yeah, he's become a target for A.J. Suggs. Over the middle on the curl route, the screen pass, they just tried to get him the football, but just got his knee on the ground there. With Syracuse killing BYU.
Here comes the crowd. Student section standing, twirling those white handkerchiefs. They want the Tigers to come up with a stop on 3rd and 13. Pressure off the corner. Gets it away into the middle, and that's Leonard Scott. Oh, what a hit. Just inside the 30, and they stop it. Well short of the first down. Now let's see. This field goal attempt would be about 47 yards. And let's check the numbers on him. The longest for him is 42 yards. That's this year. His career long is 51. So they're going to spot it at the 36, officially a 46-yard attempt. He's made from 47 and 36 tonight. Good pass, and folks, he split it. Tennessee has grabbed the momentum from the LSU Tigers, and as we take a timeout, 5:01 left in the third quarter, and now it is LSU 24 and the Volunteers 15. I think that tells the story as far as after the injury. Look at this, Mike. 5 drives, 256 yards, 24 points, but the last 3 drives since the injury, 1 yard, 1 turnover.
Yeah, I think the point Adrian made about the halftime, sitting around, the ankle may have swelled up a little bit more. I mean, he's certainly not moving like he moved in the first half.
And Schaubert is going to tee the ball at the 35, and he is the young man who hit the pooch kick just a moment ago.
I'm not so sure Davies coming out, though. Josh Booty's over here warming up, but I think Davies going to stay in the game.
They give him another try, huh? Well, he's lined up to pooch it to the near side this time, and he does. Very high, and it's short toward the sideline, and no fair catch was called at the 28 by DiMaggio, the tight end.
Yeah, you usually, when you see a quarterback, and I know they got Josh Booty warming up, but Rohan Davey is by the offensive coach that's calling the plays, so you figure he's going to stay in the football game. They need Tofield or Dominic Davis to take a little pressure off of Rohan Davey, getting the run game going.
Yep, you're exactly right. And Dominic Davis, number 31, is the man at tailback on this series. And they give it to him. Left guard for a couple. And number 22, Anthony Sessions, upends him. Adrian, let's check with you.
Well, we had 2 quarterbacks warming up during the commercial timeout. Obviously, Rohan Davey and Josh Booty. Speaking about Josh, he says, you know, that's all I'm trying to do is just stay loose. Look at the left ankle of Rohan Davey. He doesn't throw the ball. He just comes over. He doesn't want to jog around, maybe just a little bit. And look how he tries to plant on that left foot. Really is having a lot of trouble doing so.
Let's see if Tennessee comes with more pressure on him. Quick pass in and out of the hands of Josh Reed.
Team's playing tight now. You can see LSU has tightened up. They didn't play like this in the first 2 quarters. They have tightened up. The other thing you mentioned during the break, that if Josh Booty or his quarterback change here, you're not sure how the fans would react. And I'm sure Nick Saban has that in his mind, too. The last thing he needs is fans being unhappy right now. His team's coming unraveling a little bit right here, and he needs confidence.
He had such a rough week last week. I wouldn't be surprised if the reception was really negative. Davey steps up. Pass is tipped and almost intercepted.
You got to get Rohan Davey out of the ballgame, though. He's not the same quarterback right now. That ball should have been intercepted. And you can't expect your defense to keep. Rohan Davey is not playing nearly the way he played in the first couple of quarters.
So this is 4 straight series that have not been fruitful for the Tigers.
But I'm sure Nick Saban's thinking about the same thing you're talking about. He needs this crowd in a positive manner behind this football team.
That was Buck Fitzgerald who knocked the pass away. Parker, the deep man. Jones barely got that one away, and not a good kick. Caught, no fair catch. And the flag goes down because he had folks all around him. It's going to be a 5-yarder. Mays is the man who was within the magic 2-yard circle. 32 yards in a kick, 1 on a return, as Tennessee turned up the pressure on Donnie Jones that time as well.
Five-yard halo violation by the kicking team. That'll be a 5-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Halo violation. So let's go to Brian Kenny. Check with him.
Ron, let's go to Mississippi State and Florida. Here's where it got really bizarre. 31-23, back-to-back bad snaps for Florida. It led to a 3rd and 57 where Steve Spurrier took a safety to make it a 10-point game. 47-35 the final. Spurrier 0-2 in Hattiesburg.
All righty, our situation 24-15. Tennessee trying to claw their way back. Suggs going to be sacked and it's Falk. Trev Falk, the leading tackler on this LSU team, with her 2nd sack of the night.
Mistake of a young quarterback. Yeah, Dante Stallworth running stride for stride with Demetrius Hookfin right here at the bottom of your screen. And he was going to throw the ball out, and then he got off of that read, but couldn't pick up another receiver and took the sack.
Crowd loved it. They're trying to help out the defense. 2nd down and 17. Suggs going to try to run it, and wisely goes down after a gain of about 5, and it's Barnes, number 91, on the tackle.
Well, Bill Walsh, who's as good as they come in offensive play call, and would have liked what A.J. Suggs did here, picks up a few yards to get himself back in 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, so workable 3rd down situation. Keep your eye on David Martin here if he's in the ball game. Well, he's not in the football game. It's a little curl pass over the middle is in there. They got number 14, Cedric Wilson, as the inside receiver.
Conte Stallworth, number 4, the man at the bottom of the screen. Just as he got it away, and he threw that one into section 314. Hookfin is the man they brought off the corner on the blitz.
Late flag, too, Ron. And Demetrius said, I'm tired of chasing those. Let me go after that quarterback.
No flag.
There is no grounding. He was throwing it from the 20.
I assume because of the new rule, an outside the tackle. Here comes Hookfin.
Says, let me get a hit on this quarterback who's been picking on my side. Good call by Phil Mason.
David Leverton will kick to Dominic Davis. Leverton's punt. This is a rocket. Very, very high. The flag goes down, caught at the 10-yard line, and Davis will have about 6, maybe 7 yards on the return. I don't know if it's roughing, but they ran into it.
Yeah, now this is going to be a big call here to whether or not it's...
Whiteside hit him, 51 yards in the kick, 7 on the return. And the amazing thing is, not only being at 51 on the kick, it was up as high as the top of the stadium almost.
A good kick. It can only be a 5-yard. That call could only be 5 yards. I think I'd take the punt if I was Tennessee and pin them in the hole. Got a pretty good punt. They got the ball on the 17-yard line.
Here's the call.
Turn it down.
5 yards. Running into the kicker by the receiving team. Penalty is refused.
That's pretty good acting job by David there, you know.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of time left in this game.
Well, Sunday night at ESPN Classic, one of the greatest fights ever, the Thrilla in Manila. 25 years ago today, Muhammad Ali and Smokin' Joe Frazier hooked up for their 3rd and final fight of their legendary rivalry. Relive all the talk and all the punches, 7 o'clock Eastern, and to get ESPN Classic, dial 1-800-CLASSIC. Well, this is the first time we've seen Davey go under center in a while. And you see him limping back to the play action under pressure. Pass is high, and he got drilled.
I'd get him out of the ball game. I know that I know what Nick Saban's thinking here. He just needs a couple first downs. But Rohan Davey is not mobile enough to take these hits. And he's been all over the place. He's almost had his last 2 passes intercepted.
Yep. Rashad Moore and Dominic Stevenson combining to double him just as he got the ball away.
And they haven't had any running game to take any pressure off of him.
Well, they try to keep it on the ground. Davis bounces it to the outside. Sessions is there. And he is the first man to make contact. Short gain, and now LSU, instead of having 2nd and short and 3rd and short as they had in the first half, it's going to be a 3rd down and about, 4.5 yards to pick up the first.
Rohan Davey with a good start in this football game. Nick Saban, they're talking, trying to make a decision on what to do here.
8 yards in the second half, and we only have 1:35 left until the end of the quarter. That was pass complete, and a tackle made at the 29. That's enough for the first down.
Big first down. Reggie Robinson on the receiving end of Rohan Davies' throw. I think Rohan Davey is better because he's hurt right now, putting him in the shotgun, giving him a little bit more of a look so he doesn't have to come out of the center.
You know, in the middle of that line, LSU was lucky they didn't get a chop called on him that time because the center was engaged with that tackle and he got hit by the guard from the side, and that's something they're really clamping down on this year. 24-15, new set of downs for the Tigers. Hit from behind in his session, and one of the reasons with the speed of those linebackers, anything that develops slowly away from the line of scrimmage, they're going to run it down if you don't turn it up.
Yeah, they got so much speed, but what you're thinking right now, if you're Tennessee, you can see Rohan Davey floating that football. You're thinking interception right here in this series to try to turn this game again and turn the field around for your offense.
Second down and 10 could be the final play of the third quarter. Straight in the pocket, Overstreet with pressure, but he does pass off to Davis. 32, maybe to 33. Stevenson will make the tackle. Overstreet doing what he does best, and that is the motor runs, and he just keeps coming after you. That will be the last play of the third quarter. And here at Tiger Stadium, they are standing and they are cheering for their Tigers. We head to the final 15 with our score, the LSU Tigers 24 and the Tennessee Volunteers, number 11 in the nation, 15. Tennessee really tightened it down. LSU with only 17 yards in that third quarter. Third down for the Tigers. Davies steps up, drills it, has it complete to his tight end, Robert Royal. 18 yards, and how big is that play?
Big.
They are trying to keep Tennessee from getting this momentum away from them.
Caught Robert Royal, the big tight end. They split him out on the right side. Here's the curl route as he's going to curl away from the Anthony Sessions, number 22, and picks up the first down.
The fullback, Dominic Davis, the tailback. Davey pitches it back to Davis, and look at the pursuit, and Rashad Moore is right there. Talk about penetration. Knocks him down for a loss. Adrian, let's go back with you.
Ron, once again this week on the website at ESPN.com, keyword Ask Adrian. We're taking all your questions. Question from Chris Foreman of St. Cloud, Minnesota says, Adrian, what is the loudest stadium in America? Well, I haven't been to every stadium in America. I've been in here with voice meters, audio meters. We've talked about Richter Sale games in here. This student section by far, and even when I wear 2 earpieces every week, I can barely hear myself think down here. Ron, if you can hear me now, try and let me know.
I'm afraid I can, Adrian. Great job. It is here. Reed, he makes the tackle and he will score. 53 yards.
These LSU fans, he's playing on one leg and throws a touchdown pass on the smash route.
Corbello kind of sends a knuckleball through, but the extra point is good, and with 13:43 left in the ball game, our new score, LSU 31 and Tennessee 15, as Josh Reed gets his third touchdown of the night. ESPN's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Sonic, America's drive-in. And by by Texas Instruments, the world leader in DSP and analog.
Well, I'll tell you, we have had an excited crowd all night long, but they have just erupted again, and this time even louder. And as the special teams came on the field just a moment ago, they're jumping up and down and beckoning to the crowd, hey, keep it going, we need you. The kickoff, high and long, and it's going to come down to Scott at the goal line. Return to the right, he will not make the turn. He will not even make the 10-yard line.
Special teams for LSU has been a difference along with Rohan Davey. Here's the touchdown. It's going to be a corner route here and a smash on the outside. And Sessions right here gets lost, it looks like, in man coverage. Josh Reed, the corner route, wide open. Then Tennessee misses a tackle. Rashad Baker, Josh Reed into the end zone. Give a little breathing room to the LSU defense.
It's two busted coverages on the bubble screen. He only had 2 men outside against 3 back in the first half. Running play with Henry. And Travis will take it out across the 10. Time to check in with Brian Kenny again. Brian?
Ron, let's go to the Pac-10, USC and Oregon State. Ken Simonton with 234 yards on the ground, 36 of them, 36 of them right here, 31-21. Oregon State beats USC for the first time since 1967.
USC team with a lot of talent that everybody thought was going to win the Pac-10. They sustain a loss tonight to Dennis Erickson.
That's been a shocker day in college football. Suggs, he just throws this one away. Right over the top of the head of Phil Fulmer.
Good pressure by Jarvis Green. LSU's got a chance to win this football game now in this series right here. Forcing a mistake by Tennessee. Got him down to the end zone that Adrian was at. They can't hear themselves think. Right here, the crowd now becomes a part of this football game. Need to stop them on this down to get good field position for the LSU offense.
Third down. They need 6 yards to hold on to the football, which is out across the 18-yard line. Pressure on Suggs. Going to have to get rid of it, and he throws it complete to Martin. Clutch throw and catch for 14.
They've had David Martin over the middle several times in third down situations tonight, working against Trev Falk, the linebacker.
That was Lawrence who was coming after him and caused him to throw early.
A.J. Suggs does a good job of moving in the pocket, hits David Martin right over the middle, and knew right where the sticks were for the first down.
LSU with last-minute changes. Berta got those extra folks off the field. Suggs running for his life. From behind Allen. Kendrick Allen, a sophomore out of Tuscaloosa, Louisiana.
And you start dancing around back there against this LSU defense. Now, again, a young defense. Now they got a little bit more of a lead, a 16-point lead. They're playing recklessly in the defensive line, getting to the quarterback.
Okay, he's lucky he held on to this football because Kendrick Allen is 6'6", 300 pounds. It's easy to get the ball knocked loose when you get hit from behind. Short drop this time, and just threw it away. Lawrence again, Jeremy Lawrence, the sophomore out of Faraday with the pressure now. Third down and a long, long way.
This is a situation you don't want to be in. The redshirt freshman quarterback on this end of the field on a road game in the SEC. LSU's defense tonight came in with 1 sack, have 3 in a bunch of hurries on A.J. Suggs.
Tell you who else has been outstanding. Brady James has 14 tackles in this game tonight. The weak side linebacker, number 11. Suggs going to go long. Far sideline. Got a man out there, and he made the catch. It's Dante Stallworth.
Boy, they just aired this one out, Ron. 3rd and long, and you figure you're going to let it fly, and if it's picked off, it's like a punt, and they pick on Demetrius Hookfin with their fastest receiver, Dante Stallworth. And A.J. Suggs There was question. Everybody's talked about, well, can he throw the long ball? He answers it right there.
49 yards on the pass play. And I think all that happened to Stallworth, I think he came down on the football and probably knocked the wind out. Yeah. This is great concentration over the shoulder. That is so difficult to do.
We've had a lot of good individual efforts tonight. Go back to Rohan Davey. He's by far the player of this game. But A.J. Suggs has played well as a redshirt freshman quarterback.
So we'll take a break with the injury. 11:39 left in our ball game. LSU by 16. Tennessee threatening.
Come on. Come on.
Its roomy interior makes it incredibly comfortable. Its 200 horsepower makes it hard to sit still.
Here we go. Here we go.
The new Chrysler Sebring LXI sedan.
This is it, people. Let's move. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. On 3.
Great look outside the stadium. We mentioned the new addition across the way, which adds just over 11,000 more seats and an upper deck with boxes, which means close to 92,000 inside tonight. There's the new section, and I'm telling you what, they are enjoying every moment of it. Tennessee trying to grab some momentum back as Suggs throws over the middle, has it complete to Graham. And they're going to spot him just inside the 30 as number 11 Brady James just made his 15th tackle. Going to 11 minutes left in our ball game. Suggs going to go for the end zone and nobody home. Hook Finn was the defender. Well, it's time for you viewers to go online and help us select tonight's player of the game. Here's the list of nominees. Travis Henry, Anthony Sessions, A.J. Suggs of Tennessee, Rohan Davey, LSU, Howard Green of LSU, Josh Reed of LSU, and LeBrandon Tofield for the Tigers. Log on to ESPN.com now. Cast your vote, and we'll announce the winner late in the quarter. 3rd down and 5. Once the throwback does into the boundary, that is to Wilson, and he's going to be short of the first down at the 26.
Got to go for this on 4th and 2 now. Philip Fulmer needs a play call out of Randy Sanders. Pick this first down up, and the running game has been nil for Tennessee. Come into this football game with Travis Henry being one of the leading rushers.
He has not been a factor. Cedric Wilson has not been a factor. As you look at all the upsets coming in today, Laleh in that last stop, it's 4th down, and they need to take it to the LSU 24. The crowd will let you know if they make it. Suggs throws it complete to Martin. And Mike, you're right. He is such a huge target at 6'4", 215. He is pretty close to a sure thing in a troubled situation like that.
And Ron, that play that we just saw, motion with Martin in motion and a 3-man flood, will be the play. If they score a touchdown, they've got to go for 2 points. That would be the play that they probably will run for the 2-point conversion.
He wanted Martin again. They had him covered. The pass was thrown incomplete as Falk is there defensively, and I believe Damian James tipped that thing.
Ron, A.J. Suggs is very fortunate this didn't get picked off. Eric Parker is curling on the outside, and A.J. Suggs has to lead the ball outside. He can't lead him inside. See, he tries to lead him into the defender. You can't do that. Got to keep him on the outside, so keep it away from the safety.
9:55 left to play in the 2nd and 10. Tennessee trying to get in the end zone again. Has that one complete at the 16 to Martin. And they're chipping away, but it's going to be a 3rd down, and they have to take it to the 11 to pick up the first down. Damian James again defensively. Well, Saturday nights can be magic in Baton Rouge, and this one tonight is no exception.
They beat Florida, as Adrian talked about it. Here in a big upset.
Third down, as we said, they need to take it to the 11-yard line. That's Martin in motion. Pressure off the corner. The pass is caught to the fullback by Bartholomew, and he will score. Bartholomew, always used as a blocker, doesn't get that many carries, and rarely do they throw the ball to him, and it totally took LSU by surprise.
Yeah, he was wide open. Here's the touchdown pass. A little bit of flood with Will Bartholomew coming out. Got a good block downfield by Eric Parker for the touchdown.
So they go for two, and as Mike suggested, let's see if they look for David Martin, number 87. He's the inside receiver. Stallworth. Whoa, is this getting interesting? And all of a sudden, this capacity house just went silent. 9:08 to play, and it is a 31-23 ball game.
A.J. Suggs cool as a cucumber on that play because he waited for the receiver to get open.
Big Will Bartholomew with the touchdown. We'll be right back. We are back. Welcome to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. If you've just joined us, outstanding clash this evening.
Still in this, baby.
On the sideline who just caught the touchdown pass. 13 plays, 92 yards, 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Christian Cobbin has the ball teed up. He is the pooch kick specialist.
It looks like he's going to kick it deep here, Ron. He's backed up away from the football a little bit more.
Very high and kind of short. It's Dominic Davis from the 10. Tries to come across the grain, and good coverage by Tennessee this time. On Monday nights at 7 Eastern, Kenny Mayne hosts the Ultimate Fan Quiz Show, ESPN's 2-minute drill. Contestants face questions from an all-star panel of sports celebrities as they go head-to-head against the clock and each other. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't had a chance.
It's pretty good. 4 people asking questions, and they got to come up with some quick answers.
The numbers on Davey: 15 of 24, 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pressure from the outside. Davey is going to be sacked. And it's big number 98, John Henderson, the junior out of Nashville. Overstreet was the man coming underneath.
Ron, they're better off again. Repeat, going back in the shotgun with Rohan Davey because it takes him so long with that limp to get back there. See, as he comes out, limping a little bit to get back set up, and then the pressure's on him, Tennessee. So I think he's far better in the shotgun.
You can see Overstreet had a piece of him, and then it was John Henderson who finished him off. Loss of 6. They go with the running play and nothing. Davis cracked hard at the line of scrimmage. Stevenson, John Henderson, right there to meet him at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and long, LSU. A.J. Suggs on the far sideline. His team down by 8. Clock is now under 8 minutes left in our ball game.
Josh Reed has been the receiver they've gone to. He and Reggie Robinson, the inside receivers, both inside receivers.
Reed has got 3 touchdown pass catches tonight. Pressure up the middle. Davey gets it away. The hands of Josh Reed. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Rohan Davey again got hit by John Henderson. And that was too quick a 3 and out. You didn't run any clock. Josh Reed has a chance to make that catch for the first down. Here's the pressure on Rohan Davey. And the hit.
Boy, rush. Josh Reed slowed down just a little bit on the route, and that thing hit him right in the hands.
And his hands turned wrong, I believe.
Donnie Jones from the 1-yard line. Nice kick. Very high, wobbly spiral, but it's returnable. This is Parker. Tennessee 43. Runs into his own man. Now cuts around the corner, and he is going to be in LSU territory at the 43. So the Volunteers now turning up the heat even more. 42-yard punt, 13 on the return. They are within 8. We'll be right back. Inside the stadium, we say hi to these folks. They're out there watching the football game and waiting for the game to be over so they can tailgate a little bit more. They can be a part of the atmosphere out there, but not exactly what we're soaking up in here. As Adrian said, it is just wild all over the stadium. This could still be a double pass, and they get it away. He's open, and it is intercepted by LSU. It's Ryan Clark with the pickoff. Cedric Wilson with the throw, and it hung up too long. And Travis Henry is down at the 46-yard line. He is shaken up on the play.
Both safeties deep for LSU, protecting against the long throw. Tennessee comes out. Now you have him right now, but you see Cedric Wilson couldn't get anything on that football because he was fading back. Big interception by Ryan Clark.
The one player that Tennessee can't lose is Travis Henry. And Mike, he tried to throw a roll block and he got kicked on the ankle. He has just limped off the field. We'll get a report on it. Toefield and a tailback. Now keep an eye on the clock for the LSU Tigers. Toefield right at the middle. Right at 15 yards as Golden, number 13, the junior from Lithonia, Georgia, makes the tackle.
Now he looked like he was shot out of a cannon right there. He's fresh. Now Brandon Toefield. Look at this hole. Tommy Banks leading right through here. Toefield just breaks through. Nobody's there. Gets into the secondary for the first down. Teddy Gaines makes the hit.
115 yards for the Brandon Toefield, as we mentioned. Florida. Graham had 40 yards. That's the most that Tennessee has given up this year. Short yardage this time. Sessions comes up and makes the tackle.
You go back to Tennessee's call. I like the call, and it just wasn't executed. Eric, the wide receiver was wide open. Cedric Wilson just didn't have time to throw it. Inside the 50-yard line, that's the time for a gadget play. They'd worked on it. They'd set it up with the screen. Everything was right, but just didn't get Cedric Wilson, just didn't get a lot on the football.
Second down and 9. Now the Volunteers looking up at that clock. They're within 8. They got to get the football back as that ball is thrown complete. Josh Reed with the catch. You could see the disgust and frustration on the part of the Tennessee defender because that ball was thrown perfectly. Otherwise, it's not complete.
Yeah, Rohan Davey has done everything you could ask of a quarterback tonight. He made, even on the last series, he put the ball right there to Josh Reed. Josh Reed didn't make the catch. Now he's faced with another third and short yardage situation.
Look at the numbers, 16 to 26, 218, 3 touchdowns, all 3 of those to Josh Reed.
And here is Josh Reed again, the inside receiver.
They go with the running play, nothing. I mean, stonewalled Will Overstreet. He got penetration and made the hit. I asked him yesterday at the walkthrough, I said, this thing of 110% every night, what's it come from? And he said, lectures from my dad when I was young. And he said, I realized in high school that it paid off and it was carryover. And he said, I just brought it on to college. And he said, it sure makes life easier.
Well, there's an All-American football player.
Yeah.
He plays the game the way you want it played. John Chavis, Bill Fulmer, very proud of that young man.
Will, a junior out of Jackson, Mississippi, as Donnie Jones stands back to punt. And a huge play by Overstreet. We'll see if it gets his team points. Short kick, wobbly spiraled, and Parker makes the fair catch at the 40. So again, Tennessee gets good field position. That's only a 29-yard punt. Well, next Saturday on ESPN, College Game Day at 11 Eastern. Then on ESPN2, the Pittsburgh Panthers take out Syracuse at 4:30. And at prime time back here on ESPN, we'll go between the hedges as Tennessee faces off with the Georgia Bulldogs. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, along with Adrian Karsten, and a very talented crew of ESPN they get the upset, and the balls come back as the pass is thrown complete to the 46 to David Martin, and he has become the key receiver.
He has become the key receiver on a little curl route, a little slant route over the middle. Again, using him in his 6'4" frame against the linebackers.
Suggs, short draw from the shotgun. Far sideline, and did he catch it in bounds? No. Eric Locke, the sophomore from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, looking over the shoulder, making a difficult grab.
Eric Locke used at quarterback in the Southern Miss game. And I think they've scratched that now, he being a quarterback. That was a great catch if he caught that football.
Ooh. His foot came down. Look at this. But does he have possession? That's the most difficult thing to see. 3rd down and 4. Almost intercepted. Cutting in front was Fred Booker. Kind of played cat and mouse with the freshman there, and then waited, jumped in front, and he dropped it.
Now here's your decision Philip Fulmer's got to make. He's going to take a timeout. First of all, now deciding whether he wants to punt the ball and play with the last 3:47, and he's still got 2 timeouts left, or whether to go for this 4th down play.
So we'll talk more about it when we come back. There's a timeout. Tennessee with 2 timeouts remaining, and it's LSU by 8. There, 3 minutes, 47 seconds left in the ball game. Decision time, Tennessee. And Mike, what do you see over there?
I think they're going to go for it. LSU better keep their eyes on number 87, David Martin. He's been the go-to receiver on 3rd and 4th down, number 87. We'll show you where he's lined up at.
So it is 4th down and 4. They need to take the ball to the 49.5 of LSU. Tigers leading by 8 as you look at where Martin is lined up. Scott Wells, the long snapper. As Cedric Wilson moves from the right side over to the left. Gets his pass away. It is caught by Martin. No, caught by Cedric Wilson. And did he make far enough advance to pick up the 1st down as Booker makes the hit?
Wow, I'll tell you, this is a game of inches right here of where that ball is spotted.
Great play by the veteran Fred Booker, senior out of Hammond, Louisiana. And let's see if Fred comes up with the play that turns it completely for LSU, because he may have just done that. Think there's not a little tension on the sideline, Mike Gottfried?
A bunch.
They stretch it out.
Tennessee's got it.
1st down, Tennessee. And I mean not by much, but it doesn't have to be. 1 length of the chain.
Looked like that play, Ron. A.J. Suggs had to set Cedric Wilson in motion. Looked like almost a bust. And Philip Fulmer wanted a timeout. He didn't want that play to go off, but he's happy it went off now.
4 wide receivers set. He throws back into the boundary. The screen to Wilson. Gets by 1 tackler, then runs out of bounds. Lavallee, the freshman out of Marksville, Louisiana, number 93 on the stop.
Here's what I was talking about, Ron. 4th down, and A.J. Suggs couldn't get Cedric Wilson to move in motion. Well, we'll see it a little bit later.
3:18 left in the ball game. You see the score, LSU 31, Tennessee 23. They put it in the stomach of Travis Henry. They run back into the boundary. Can he get outside? Yes, he does get out of bounds, and he also picks up the 1st down as Ryan Clark will ride him down. Tennessee with 2 timeouts remaining, but not having to use one here.
You ask a lot of a redshirt freshman, A.J. Suggs, in this football game to bring you back. But he has played very well. Both quarterbacks tonight have played excellent.
He is 31 of 52, 2 touchdowns, 270 yards. Suggs lobs this one, and the drop ball almost intercepted by Ryan Clark.
LSU is not going to give you a long pass right now. They got those 2 safeties sitting back on the hash. Ryan Clark on the right side, Lionel Thomas on the left side. They're not going to give you anything long. You can't hang the ball up like on that play. Too much time for the safety to break and make the play.
Too much awareness for a trick play here, Mike?
Yeah, I think you got to just keep taking 5, 6, 7-yard passes.
2nd and 10. You can see 187 seconds left in this one. There's the quick pass. It is caught, and immediately Stallworth is tackled. A nice job by Clark. He wouldn't let him go and let him get to the sideline.
I can see what Phil Elmation is talking about in Ryan Clark. I mean, he's a sure tackler. He's got jumping ability to deflect footballs. He breaks on the football. He is really an outstanding defensive back.
Junior out of Marrero, Louisiana. Clark has got 6 tackles tonight. With 2:35 to play. Suggs flushed out of the pocket, throws it complete at the 25 to Cedric Wilson. That is enough by 1 for the first down.
Ron, on the last play, A.J. Suggs was looking for David Martin, but they doubled him, the inside and outside. And so they took him away. A.J. Suggs able to come off the ball. Watch this right here. David Martin right here. 2 people on him. So A.J. Suggs does the next best thing. Got the ball out to Cedric Wilson.
They keep it on the ground with a running play. And wow, what a reception. Booker is there. Trev Falk was the first man to make the hit. 12th tackle for Trev Falk tonight. He has been outstanding. Glad to see, by the way, that Travis is back out there, and that little nick that he got earlier didn't put him on the bench for the rest of the night. Under 2 minutes to play. Pass over the middle, got it complete to Martin. Drives the defenders. Let's see, they're going to give him forward progress to the 15. That may be enough for the first down.
They doubled him on the last play, but now they single him, and A.J. Suggs knows he's going right to David Martin over the middle. Good decisions by A.J. Suggs, the redshirt freshman.
Tennessee, 2 timeouts remaining. LSU, 3 timeouts remaining. Clock with 1 minute and 42 seconds left. They'll measure this one. And Tennessee will have it by the nose of the... Nope, he's going to miss it by the nose of the football, by 1 chain link.
Sometimes you like to miss it by chain link so you can pick up the first down, get the hold down started again. And Ron, go back to the first half.
I know what you're going to say.
Squandered a chance to kick a field goal, which would have been made a world of difference in this situation.
Martin, career high, 12 catches, 75 yards. Rohan Davey on the sideline looks on anxiously as all of the LSU players on that near sideline. Here comes the blitz. Suggs throws this one. It is caught by Wilson. Touchdown. 15 yards in the pass play. Cedric may have gotten away with a little push down there.
I believe he did get away on Demetrius Hookfin. A little push, which he cleared out and caught the little hop fly by A.J. Suggs. Now, Ron, they're going to move the ball to the left hash, which leads me to believe that play we saw a little bit ago, motion to the right side. There'll be motion over here and a flood in this area right here. A.J. Suggs should roll to the right.
90 seconds left in this one.
Cedric Wilson will come in motion.
There he comes.
It's going to be a flood, roll out, flood.
Suggs on the 2-point conversion in the end zone. He's got it. We are tied at 1:30, showing on the clock Eric Parker. This is incredible.
We're first going to look at the touchdown. Cedric Wilson against Demetrius Hookfin. May have got away with a push. Gets away from him.
Oh,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no, I think that's a good touchdown. He just overran. Now, here's the extra point now. Roll out to the right. It's a flood all the way. A.J. Suggs got about 3 different receivers he can go to. Picks out the open receiver, Eric Parker, and this football game is tied. Now Tennessee has rallied behind a redshirt freshman. There is no quarterback controversy at Tennessee. There is no quarterback controversy at LSU. 2 fine quarterbacks tonight.
Look at his numbers in the second half. 25 of 41, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. Davis and Myers will be the 2 deep men.
Look at those linemen coming over to A.J. Suggs. This is just before the first half. No time outs left. Threw a pass for about 7-yard gain and didn't get lined up for the field goal. And missed an opportunity at least to kick a field goal. But they have fought back.
Well, Phil Fulmer told Adrian Karsten as he headed to the locker room, we are not in a panic mode. We can come back in this football game. And he is exactly right as we're tied at 31. This kick from Davis to the 3. Davis gets whacked hard at the 22-yard line. Fortunate he held on to the football as Eddie Moore, number 37, makes the tackle.
Now here's your decision for Nick Saban. Do you try to let Rohan Davey throw the ball down the field here, or do you play for overtime? I think the first play, you either run a draw or screen or something safe where you try to break it out to about the 35-40, and then that'll help you make your decision.
Corbello warms on the sideline. You can see his numbers, 43 his longest. And of course that one was tonight back in the first quarter. Screen pass, and he just throws that one away. And now here comes a flag. He's going to get called for grounding. They will lose the down. Wow.
Now, Ron, you got to be worried if you're Nick Saban about Tennessee using their 2 timeouts to force you to give them the football.
Intentional grounding on the offense. Penalty is lost and down at the spot of the foul.
Yeah, but a lot of teams try to start with a draw or screen in that situation. Rohan Davey drops back. You could see screen all the way. Tennessee read it too, and that's why he pumped the football, because there was nobody there to throw the football to.
And that was Moore who had him around the ankles and was applying extreme pressure. Tennessee with the player shaken up. We can't get the number. LSU with 385 total yards tonight. Tennessee with 355, and majority of them have come in the second half. D'Angelo Lloyd, the left defensive end, who's been outstanding tonight, a senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina, is the player who is down. Well, while we've got a second as they attend to Lloyd on the field, take a look at some of the scores in the SEC today. Situation. Tennessee has just scored. They got the 2-point conversion. They kicked off to LSU, and right now his Tennessee teammates in prayer on the field as D'Angelo Lloyd has suffered a neck or head injury of some kind. They have brought the cart out on the field. The doctors are about to put him on a stretcher, and you can see they are checking the legs, the foot, and also the calf, I would assume, to see if he's got feeling there. And while we still have time, let's check back up at the studio and Brian Kenny. Brian, what do you have for us? Okay, the situation tied at 31, but the most important thing right now, D'Angelo Lloyd has been loaded on a stretcher. They are putting him on a cart. And we will get an update from Adrian just as quickly as we can. We have been told that they were talking in terms of getting one of the hospital helicopters very nearby the stadium to avoid any kind of congestion to get the youngster to a hospital as quickly as possible. Adrian, what else can you add down on the sideline?
The orthopedic surgeon is going to speak with me as soon as he comes off the field, Ron. I did see some movement in the right arm of D'Angelo Lloyd. I'm not going to speculate about an injury of this nature, of course, at this point, but as soon as I have something, we'll offer it to you.
Okay. As we talk about each and every week, everything, as you look right here, he gets a blow, I believe a knee to the head. There you see him going down right there and hit in the head right there by his teammate. And that is when he went down, and he stayed down until the training staff got out there to administer aid to him. As you see from the other side, the injury, you see the youngster go down right there, and he did not get up after that blow to his head. So hopefully the players have been down on a knee as a team, saying a prayer for their fallen teammate, and hopefully this is something that is not as serious as it looks right now. Interesting, when 92,000 people who have been at a fever pitch all night long and they just go silent, everybody with the same thought in mind that hopefully this youngster is not injured seriously. So we have had a stoppage in play for several minutes here with that injury. We'll update you just in case that you went away and have just come back. Tennessee scored just moments ago, got the 2-point conversion. So we're tied at 31. We have 1:18 left in the ball game. LSU all 3 timeouts left. Tennessee with 2, and it is a second down and about 27 yards to go because of the illegal grounding called against Rohan Davey and the LSU Tigers.
Ron, the success that LSU's had is right here. Wide receiver Josh Reed, but Tennessee still has 2 timeouts left, so LSU has to make a decision whether they want to try to kill this clock a little bit and run the football. But they look like they're going to throw it
from the end zone. Davey wings the pass, has it complete, and boy, you know, Reggie Robinson almost came down first with the foot out of bounds. Yeah. Anthony Sessions was out there to cover on him.
Tennessee again, 2 timeouts. They got a lot of time if they can stop them here to try to get field goal range to end this in regulation.
As soon as this play is done, unless it's an incomplete pass, I think Tennessee will use one of those 2 timeouts, don't you?
Yes.
From the shotgun, Davey retreats to the 1, is hit, delivers the ball, and it is caught at the 32-yard line to the man Mike was just talking about, Josh Reed. 24 yards.
Ron, you talk about a great effort tonight. This Rohan Davey was hit by Rashad Moore as he threw the football. He was waiting for Josh Reed to come open. He took the hit, still made the completion. And Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, turning this game over to Rohan Davey.
Reed has got 7 catches for 146 yards. Davey steps up, gets the pass complete at the 41, and then runs out of bounds. Reggie Robinson. Willie Miles defensively for Tennessee.
Ron, that's a safe route that LSU's running right here. That's the route that Josh Reed caught the touchdown pass. I refer to it as a smash route. And the outside receiver is going to go flat right here. He stops, and you got a corner route here. So the safe throw is to Reggie Robinson. Then he wisely gets out of bounds.
Sessions was the man who hit him first. He kind of gave him a dead leg, and he got by him. 46 seconds left in our game. Tied at 31. They go with a running play. Right up the middle. Maybe 2 yards, and that's it. John Henderson down at the bottom of the pile. And a timeout has been called by LSU.
Trying to keep the pass rush off of the quarterback, and then trying also to sneak Tofield through there, maybe break a big run and make it a little easier getting in the field goal range. But LSU still has 2 timeouts left. Tennessee with 2, so a lot of time here. If I'm Tennessee, I know where Josh Reed is. Number 25. He has hurt the secondary this entire football game.
Well, SportsCenter is coming up next with Kenny Mayne and John Anderson. Wild, wild AL West, SEC battle, and the Mort Report. That's on SportsCenter immediately following our ball game.
I know you're a baseball fan. The Cleveland Indians, with a lot of talent, they're facing extinction tomorrow.
And how about Art Howe's team out on the left coast? The A's with 23 runs today.
Playing football.
Yeah, we gave you the numbers on Reed. You take a look at them. 7 for 146.
Here's Josh Reed, the inside receiver again. They've been able to get him on the curl route.
1st and 10, 42 ticks left on the clock, and the flag went down immediately. As you can see, Big John Henderson and Lewis Williams taking exception to what one had said to the other.
For the snap, movement by the offensive line, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
First down.
Nick Saban pacing the sideline. It goes without saying, this wouldn't be big. This would be huge to his young program if they were to come up with this upset tonight. Now they're going to put 2.4 seconds back on the clock, because that's what it was when the false start occurred. So not an official snap of the football. Corbello continues to loosen up his leg on the sideline. The sophomore out of Lafayette kicked his longest field goal of his career earlier this evening, back in the first half. Made one from 47 yards. That's how much time we have left, and we're going to overtime, obviously, if Corbello doesn't get a chance, or if Tennessee does not come up with something to get points. Davey zings it, got it complete over the middle, and that's Myers.
Can't say enough about Rohan Davey. Sitting calm and in the pocket, making key throws.
They pick up 10 or 12 more yards. They got it within Corbello's range. Can't take a sack here, and he even threw that complete to Myers at the 35. It was like an afterthought.
I think he was trying to throw it away.
I do too.
And just so happened Gerald Myers was there.
Bernard Jackson was all over him. I mean all over him. So at the 35, obviously, if they don't make another yard, it would be a 52-yard attempt from here. Folks, if they pick up between 5 and 10 yards, the LSU Tigers have got an opportunity to take this thing away from Tennessee's overtime opportunity.
I believe I'd try to run the football here right now. If you got 2 timeouts, try to hit a run in here.
On second down, that's exactly what they do. They bounce it to the outside. Tofield inside the 25 as a marker comes down at the line of scrimmage.
That's going to be a holding call.
Nick Saban will
He's on the field.
He will come unglued if this is a holding call.
13 yards.
That ball went down to the 21-yard line. But from where the flag has been thrown,
Holding on the offense.
this penalty is going to take it all the way back to the 41.
Second down.
Wow, a 20-yard difference after this penalty. And the thing is, now the clock shows just over 16 seconds to play, and you can see Coach Saban wants a timeout. Well, I assume he is saying after the play he wants the timeout. Second down and 11. Clock runs 14 down to 13. Davey zings it bang at the line of scrimmage, and the pass is knocked down incomplete with 8 seconds on the clock. And it looked as though John Henderson, the 6'7" junior from Nashville, got a big hand up and knocked it down.
Well, there's been so many plays in this ball game. The holding call and big plays that can't remember a ball game where there's been so many changes, so many big plays in one football game.
Put a huge asterisk by that holding call. 2 plays ago. 6 seconds. Down to 5. Got it complete. Tackle is made. And the timeout is being called. We have 2.1 seconds left. Now let's see. As we set it up, Royal on the reception. This is going to be an attempt of around 46 or 47 yards. There's the tight end, Royal. Settles over the middle, makes the catch. Sessions is there to make the tackle on him.
What a great effort by LSU tonight. Rohan Davey, what a great comeback by Tennessee. It comes down to this field goal attempt.
Well, the voting's complete. Tonight's Visa Player of the Game is selected by the fans at home at ESPN.com as Rohan Davey. 21 of 34, 294, 3 touchdowns. Got 49% of the vote. But the most important thing for this team right now, as you see them interlocking their arms and hands, just over 2 seconds to play, and young John Corbello, a sophomore out of Lafayette, can win it for the Tigers, and it looks like Tennessee's going to ice him. Tennessee calls a timeout. They still have 1 remaining. You know, we talk so many times about different stadiums that we go to, and you know, there are a lot of fun places around, but the atmosphere Saturday night, Baton Rouge, and sometimes I think there is magic in this Baton Rouge sky.
I'll tell you, this has been a great football game because of the different changes, but LSU comes off a loss to UAB, humiliating loss.
Yeah.
They went back to the practice field. They worked hard all week. They get Tennessee in here. Tennessee, they had them down. Tennessee fights back, and I just can't tell you how impressed I have been with Rohan Davey and A.J. Suggs, both of them with great games at the quarterback position.
Did you see what he did just now? He went out into the middle of the huddle of the special teams and gave everybody a pat, a clap of the hand, and said, hey, guys, we deserve it. Let's win this thing.
He's the quarterback of the future here for LSU.
Two seconds left in the ball game. This kick will come from right in the middle of the field, trying to get the win for LSU. It is a 46-yard attempt.
They're going to take the final timeout.
Corbello trots over to the sideline. He'll talk to a fellow kicker. That's the last time out by Tennessee. But Corbello really doesn't want to talk to anybody.
No.
He is away from the entire team.
And all the coaches get away from him, too. They don't want to talk to him.
Well, this is one of those things, Mike, of when you were a young guy and you were out in the front yard, you did your own play-by-play, and that imaginary ball, and you wished for that opportunity to win one for your school and for your team. Well, he can wear the hero's badge tonight if he knocks this one home.
He's got a chance. And as you said, a lot of people dream of having this opportunity in front of the home crowd.
The snapper, Brian Pear. The holder, Josh Booty. Everything obviously has got to be right on. This LSU, big underdog in this ball game coming into this one tonight, can knock off the number 11 team in the nation. And John Corbello is the third part of the connection that works properly for the Tigers. Here we go from 46 yards. Pass is good. Ball is down. Tennessee got a piece of it at the line of scrimmage, and it never had an opportunity to make it there. It looks like Golden, number 13. Yep. The grin on his face says he got the block. We're going to overtime.
And Ron, you talked about the kicker having his chance. Tad Golden was waiting for his opportunity to shine. Number 13, Tad Golden, up inside, will get up and deflect that football. You look for your guy that can jump the highest vertical jump. Philip Fulmer has another life.
I'll tell you what, that was a heck. You see why they measure on vertical leap. He was up there and quickly. So let's take a timeout. We're heading to overtime. 31 LSU, 31 Tennessee. We'll be back for overtime from Baton Rouge. So it's overtime, and the flip of the coin. Let's listen. He's going to get out of
here. Going overtime. This coin toss is going to determine which end we're going to play on and who's going to be on offense and defense. All right? We're going to call it toss. All right. Out in the air for him to hit. Ready? Heads. Head, you call it head, Captain. It is a head you want. The ball defense. Now, which end are you going to play at? Down there. Okay, so you'll put your backs that way.
Another overtime game that Tennessee had, and that was against the Florida Gators, the year that they won the national championship. And you remember they won that game in Knoxville 20-17.
Ron, you like to win that toss because you go on defense first.
So the rules, in case you're not familiar, each team, of course, gets one possession from the opponent's 25 until the winners decide. There's no game clock, only the play clock. But after 2 overtime periods, then you got to go for a 2-point conversion. How big is this one? Well, that shows you right there on the sideline as Dante Stallworth takes a little time to visit with his personal person upstairs. Tofield in motion. See if they try to go to him. Right over the middle, lost the pass, and touchdown, and that's rolling. Well, hello, let's just score on the first play. Now into the rules of overtime. Now Tennessee's got to come back with a touchdown, or this baby is over.
Ron, they had him doubled. Robert Royal, motion by the back out of the backfield, left a linebacker and a safety on the tight end. You couldn't have better defense than Tennessee had, a better call, but they didn't execute.
Corbello with the extra point attempt. Good pass. The hold by Booty is perfect. The kick is up and through, and the LSU Tigers need one play to score in overtime. Now it is incumbent upon the Tennessee Volunteers to come back and also put one in the end zone.
They've got double coverage on Robert Royal. Both Tennessee players are in a good position, but they fail at the end to execute. Good play call by Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, and putting pressure right back on Tennessee.
I'm telling you, just about the time that Phil Fulmer thought he could take a sigh of relief, LSU came right back and hit him right in the face. Tigers lead it 38-31. We're in overtime. Now here comes Tennessee's possession from the 25. And they're moving into that noisy student section that Adrian talked about. Suggs his pass. Caught. And that's Cedric Wilson. And they'll give him forward progress to the 15.5. Ryan Clark defensively.
Ron, you got to think Travis Henry somewhere in this overtime is going to play a factor in the running game or an outlet pass receiver. He's been held to 84 yards tonight. Tennessee, well, the story is simple. They must score a touchdown and kick an extra point. They go with the running play. And here comes Travis. Cuts it up. He was losing that football as he went down. And remember this, if you are to turn it over and the other team's already scored and they recover, this overtime would be done. Yeah, it's history. Falk with the tackle along with Brady James. Those two guys have been devastating on defense. Injury for LSU. I believe it's Jarvis Green down. Jarvis, the big right defensive end. What great effort both of these teams have played with tonight.
5 yards. First down.
Outside the 10-yard line, Ron, they can get a first down. In overtime, 38-31, they are tending to Jarvis Green.
And we, by the way, we have an update right now from Adrian on D'Angelo Lloyd. Adrian, what'd you find out?
Initially, he had feeling in all of his extremities, but not movement. Then after about 2 minutes, he did regain the movement in there. He has been transferred to a hospital locally. Always was conscious, at least a sprained neck, but x-rays are to come next.
Okay, that is indeed just outstanding news.
Ron, here's where you kind of caught if you're Randy Sanders and Philip Fulmer, right? Because you're outside the 10-yard line. You haven't ran the ball well, but that gives you the best chance of knocking it in the end zone is number 20, Travis Henry.
Well, they spread him out all over the field. And let's see if that's exactly what they're trying to do, to spread him out and try to give it to Henry and let him jump it up inside. Safety coming on the blitz. They throw for the end zone, and it is overthrown, intended for Eric Parker.
Good coverage by Fred Booker.
Boy, every time they've gone over on Fred's side, he's been up to it. He has been right there.
He's got a clean uniform. He hasn't. They haven't worked his side much.
That's because poor Hookfin is the man they've been picking on all night. Three wide receivers go right, one to the bottom of your screen. That'll be Dante Stallworth. 2nd and 10, Tennessee. They roll the pocket. You see the pressure from the backside. The pass is complete, and stepping out of bounds is Cedric Wilson. It'll be 3rd down.
Coaches at Tennessee will tell you that they like the fact that A.J. Suggs throws well on the run. So you roll him out down here in the 10-yard line. Nick Saban, a former defensive coach with the Cleveland Browns, making some defensive calls here late in the game.
Suggs, you could see the concentration on his face, staring into that sideline across the way.
Late substitutions round for LSU.
38-31 in overtime. It's 3rd down and 3 for the Vols. 2 seconds down to 1. Did he get it? Barely got it off. For the end zone, he throws. It is knocked away, intended for David Martin. Damian James made the play, and now it is 4th down, Tennessee.
Damian James.
Philip Fulmer going to take a little time to come up with this play.
Let's look at that last play one more time. James with the breakup.
Almost had a chance to intercept that football.
Yeah, he did. So, is this the last play? It is 4th down. It's been a day of upsets in college football, and this would be, I guess, if you're an LSU fan, it's a perfect way to end that day. And if it were to happen, and this man here, with the day that he had, probably the headline tomorrow might read, "What a difference a Davey makes."
Well, he'll be the SEC player of the week, the offensive player of the week. The benefit of winning the toss is you go second, so you know what you got to get. The other reverse side of that is you're down in the LSU section.
Let me show you something here, Mike. Those are not the edge of the stands. They're out of the stands. They are waiting to rush the field. They've come out of the student section. See this right here? In fact, I'm not going to be surprised if the officials don't slow this thing down and ask them to move back off the sideline. But, well, they are. They are about 3 yards off that sideline. But these students are waiting to rush the field to congratulate their LSU Tigers. But Tennessee is not done yet. They have a 4th down and 3. Got to pick up the 1st down here, or this overtime is done.
4th down, 3 at the 4-yard line.
A.J. Suggs looked under pressure on a freshman. Here comes the pressure. Gets his pass away, and it is tipped and incomplete. LSU wins.